Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulillah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Brothers and sisters, glad to start the session again after lunch. As I was mentioning, hopefully you had a good lunch, and that becomes a challenge for me to make sure that you don't fall asleep. There is no prize for the ones who fall asleep. There's only prize for the one who snores the loudest. Okay, Qari Basit, can you please turn off the lights in here in the front? These two, please. Just the front ones. Yeah. So I want to continue where we left off. We're just running a little bit behind. We're going to catch up pretty soon. So we were at this time, we mentioned about these things. Normally, these are the things you can expect to receive from Dar es Salaam. What do you get with the final package? When we say we'll give you a final package, it normally has references to these things, but we have already sent some things to you, like the ebook. We're not going to send you the DVD. You will get your ID card and luggage tags, and the dua book, and so forth. Ihram, for those who are starting in Mecca, I'm going to repeat this because it keeps coming up. You're in program 3A, 3B, or 1C, you will receive your ihram, or you should have already received your ihram here in the United States, unless, of course, you just registered. And those who are in other programs that begins the trip in Medina, your ihram will be given to you in Medina, inshallah. What I want to do is show you some samples of what I just discussed. So here's a sample. When I say there's a label at the back of your passport, don't remove it. That label is an example that I'm showing you. It has a barcode. We actually use this label when, as Brother Muhammad Mustafa mentioned to you, one of the operational responsibilities is to work with the mutawif, because the passport is surrendered at the airport. It shows up at the mutawif's office a couple of days later, a day later, and one of our guys who's in charge of the passport department goes out and makes sure that it is tracked, it is located. And so we use, instead of opening up each page and looking at it, we use the back label, scan it, and it tells us what's there and what's missing. So this is important to us. It's also important to us because in the back is also airline. So when you're departing, some people are departing one day, another departing another day, we track those as well. So just don't remove the label. It is meaningful to us. Hajj draft. You paid $300 for something called a Hajj draft. Hajj draft is really, actually the amount is written on the top side, says 1,029 Saudi riyals. Roughly comes to about $275 or so. Used to be that we have to go out and order the bank draft for you, and it used to be stapled in the passport. I have to submit this to the consulate. They return it back and would collect it at the airport. That process changed. Now what I do is I get labels, and I fix the label on one of the pages of the passport. You will not have a physical draft. Instead, you'll have one of these two labels. Ignore the numbers on it, 347.50 and 435. We'll still pay for everybody the same. So if you're landing in Medina, it's one label. If you're landing in Jeddah, it's another label. And don't remove it, because if you remove it, then you have to pay for it again in Saudi Arabia. Right? So that's all we're saying. When you open your passport, you see what is that? Know that this is your receipt, if you will, for your Hajj draft. Okay, so don't detach it. Here's an example of the front of the ID card. We just made up a sample. You can see that it has meaningful information. You need to have your ID card with you when you land. So when you land, you have your ID card. If you're departing from here in a group, you show up at JFK, and we have our representative. They will easily recognize you if you have an ID card. Otherwise, we won't know you. Same thing when you land on the other side. Be careful, don't lose it, because we can't really replace it. And the ID card has, for example, the group number. In this case, in this sample, it's just a sample, it says I'm in group 41. So you know that your group number is 41, and therefore I'll have a group leader that I will know who's looking for 41. You'll have the program, nationality, and the name of the person in the front. And what you will have is in the backside of the ID card contains important things. For example, which hotel I'm in, the number, telephone number of the hotel, and something called the serial number. This is not the room number. We have a list of all the people in rooms. We actually serialize it. When we get the key, then we assign the key to a specific serial number. The reason why we put the serial number in the back of the ID card is when 150 of you show up at the front desk, say, I want to check in, it's very difficult to go through that list. But if the list is kept in the serial number, oh, you're 51, I can easily go to 51 and know what the corresponding room number is to give you the key. That's just our way of doing things. That's why you see that. And in the bottom, you see something called an emergency number. By the way, that's a valid emergency number. In case of emergency, that's the number to call, right? So that's a sample of it. By the way, your ID card also acts as your ticket for your meals. When you walk into the restaurant, you have it on, yes, you can enter and have your breakfast, have your dinner. So ID card also acts as a security. The Mina camp is secure, except for the entrance where you have security guards. They don't want people walking on the streets to just walk into the camp. So you have to have an ID card to be able to get into the camp. So you should keep your ID card with you. That was a sample of it. Next sample I want to share with you is the luggage tag. Not to be confused with the luggage tag that you yourself have on your luggage with your personal name and address. This is similar, but what this does, it is used by us for different reasons. You will get those with your final package. Each person would get 2 luggage tags, one for each checked bag. There's no luggage tag needed for the hand carry. So you'll see in the top, it says the program, and this is a red color tag because we have decided that red color will be program 4A, yellow will be another program, etc. And you will see that it shows your ID number, serial number of your Medina room and Mecca room and Jeddah room, and then you have your name at the bottom of it. And this is the tag that we say to you, which one? You want these lights off? Okay. Yeah. But, pardon me? You want the fan turned off? Okay, the fan to be turned off. All right, this is good. I don't want it completely dark because I don't know if you're making faces at me or not. All right, so this is the tag that I want you to put on before you check your bag in at the airport. Because if God forbid it doesn't get in Medina or Jeddah, doesn't get to it, you'll file your lost baggage report, give it to us. And when our guy goes into that big hall, it's just lined up with suitcases, these things stand out. He knows what he's looking for. He's not going to look at labels of every bag, for example. So there are many reasons behind it. It's also used for tracking. If I'm in Move and Pick Medina hotel, let's say I'm in program 2, when I'm moving to Mecca, from one hotel in Medina, I'm going to 2 different hotels in Mecca. How do I know which bag goes to which hotel? So we have all kinds of logistics behind it. That's what the tag looks like. Now comes the favorite subject. I already had a question about SIM chips. Somebody asked that question. So the SIM card that we had always provided you here in North America before you left used to be a local Saudi SIM card with a local Saudi number on it. Starting this year, I think it started in February of this year, security regulations that came into place in Saudi Arabia required the person who wants the SIM card to have an official ID, to be there in person, and to be fingerprinted before they would issue a SIM card. So it becomes difficult. We're still working on a solution. Either it'll be a North American-based SIM card or likelihood, and we're praying that our guys who are working in Saudi Arabia can get the SIM card from one of the mobile carriers. And so we will actually let you know about that by the middle of August. We are hopeful. It's not a done deal, but we're hopeful we'll have a SIM card with this local Saudi number. So that's the story behind the SIM card. It's difficult only because of the regulation change, right? And they have security concerns in how the SIM cards are being used. Phone. We would like you to carry with you a smartphone, not a simple phone, a smartphone. The requirement is that it must be a GSM phone. And this is important. This part you need to understand. It must be unlocked from the carrier. Because if you replace the SIM on it while it's locked, it will not work unless it's unlocked from the carrier. And we would like you to use WhatsApp as a messaging medium. What we would like to do in light of all the security situation is that we will know the SIM chip that you're going to get, and then we should be able to communicate with you. So we would like you to have a smartphone that is unlocked, that works in Saudi Arabia, which is a GSM phone, and should have WhatsApp on it. Better to take it from here, although you can get it in Saudi Arabia, but you're better off to take it from here. Right? So that's the idea behind the phone. Very simple. But do remember, it's very annoying when you are in the haram when your phone rings. So just turn it off or push sure that it's in silent mode while you're in the haram. And when you come out, don't forget to turn it back on again. So these are the topics. SIM chips, labels, tags, all of that stuff you're going to get. This is in addition to the stuff we're going to give you when you're in Saudi Arabia. And each person gets a backpack. You also get a shoe bag. The women get prayer mat, and the men get ihram, either here for those who are in Mecca first or in Medina. So that's all going to happen over there. What I want to speak to you about is communication. How do we talk? How do we actually answer your questions? Because I have learned over the years that you can ask all the questions today. As soon as you go out in the parking lot, 2 more questions will pop in your mind. And that's normal. So we have implemented this thing called the Dar es Salaam Forum, Hajj Forum. We sent out many emails. And the reason it's not open to everybody, it's only open to those who've registered for Dar es Salaam. And the reason behind is because we would like to be able to say things that are somewhat, proprietary in nature. We don't want everybody else to know about it, like what we're planning and how we're planning to do it, etc. For example, I can give you an org chart as to what Program 4's org structure looks like. I want it to be restricted to those who are going with Dar es Salaam. That's why you have to register for it. And when you register for it, sometimes I get registration. I'm the main administrator. I can't tell who this person is. And I would send out an email saying, can't give you access unless you tell me who you are, your name, your ID number. And I find that I get no response because I know that somebody else told their friend who actually decided to register. So register with an email address that is known to us. If you don't want to register with an email address that's known to us, and that is okay. For example, a husband and wife registered with Dar es Salaam with one email address. Now the other person is registering in the forum with the other email address. There is a comment box. Just write in the comment, I am in this program, my name is such and such, please approve. And that way I can search up our system and know that you are a valid Dar es Salaam registered Haji, and I will approve that in the forum. The purpose of the forum is a two-way communication. And it is an interactive online forum. So we have decided to divide it up into 4 folders. If you go into the forum, there is a guideline for forum users that has some of the same information that I'm telling you here today. It tells you what those 4 folders are all about. The first folder is information we want to give you. Okay. The online users couldn't see the label and ID card. I'll get to it after I'm done here, okay? So the information we want to give you. So if you go into this information from Dar es Salaam folder, for example, you will have in it the 11 episodes of How to Perform Hajj by Dr. Muhammad Salah. You have in it the 1 high-definition DVD by Dr. Hamid Slimi on Hajj. You have Yasir Qadi's Fiqh of Hajj, both as a DVD and transcription of his lecture. You have Q&A from Sheikh Ahmed Kutti. You also have the last video sessions we had, 4 of them in May. Recording of that is available. You will have this particular session today, its slides and recording also loaded up there. So this is us giving you the information. That's that folder. Second one is called General Questions. We tried to preempt some of the common questions by asking the question and answering the question. And we tried to categorize it. So if you want to know what's the luggage allowance for aircraft, for the flight, it's already there. The size of the suitcase, the weight. If you want to know how you exchange money. So we've created those topics, put the Q&A, and the idea here is that if you have further questions on that topic, you can actually create your own question, post your questions under that topic. If it is a topic that's not listed, go create a new topic and ask your question. What tends to happen is people tend to ask the question without reading the topic. So I have the topic called ihram or suitcase appearing 4 times. It becomes very difficult for somebody to navigate through it. So I spend quite a bit of time, normally late at night, to collapse some of the topics, move it to a common place so that it becomes easy to navigate. So read it a little bit before you actually punch your question in, right? So that's the general questions. All of those things are in here. Should I take a sleeping bag to Muzdalifah? That is answered in there. For example, what about wheelchair? It's answered in there. What about stool? It's answered in there. Can I carry a stool with me? So I have tried to answer as many questions that I could think of. So read that, you will enrich yourself. And the good thing is, if you have further questions, if you ask it and I answer it, it's visible to everybody. So every so often you go into the forum and see what's new. And you can see the newer questions and the newer answers. Religious questions, to separate the logistics from the religious side, same thing. Created topics, types of Hajj. What are the restrictions of ihram? What can I wear in ihram or not wear in ihram? What about footwear, which is specific to men? One of the questions I had here, what kind of shoes are required for women and how much coverage of the foot is required? For the women, there are no restrictions as far as footwear is concerned. It's only for the men. So those questions are already there. And answers are provided by the shuyukhs over the years that I have accumulated and written all those answers. And then if you wanted to ask another questions, you can. It's answered by Dr. Muhammad Salah, or if it's a woman, Sister Hana Gamal answers it. We have within the religious questions a specific folder for women's only questions. Women have unique situations and they have unique questions, so there's a folder pertaining to that. And so you can ask those questions and some religious scholar will answer those questions. I don't answer those questions. I go for that. Then there's something called the program specific questions. So I have a folder within it for each of the program. Program 1A, is a folder. Program 2A, is another folder. So this is where you see some people posting a question saying, hey, I'm from Houston in program 3. Anybody else going from Houston? Get to know each other. So you can network. At the same time, program specific questions, not general questions, you can ask and it will be answered, inshallah. And so it's a growing thing, if you will. As I mentioned, the link was sent to you in an email. And if you don't have it, call your agent. We'll give you the link. It's already provided here. These slides will be available as well. You are required to register. So as of 2 days ago, we had approximately, this is what it looks like. These are the 4 folders. You can see each one of them. And below it is the purpose of the folder. When you click on the folder, it opens up to show the rest of the topics. And as of 2 days ago, I had about 611 members, user IDs, unique user IDs, and about 93 topics and 193 posts across. So please do register. It's in your best interest to actually be able to use the forum as much as you possibly can. I also want to remind you before I get into the logistics part of in greater detail, once again, that Qalam Institute is hosting, by the way, Brother Ahmed, did I get the time wrong or right? 11 a.m. CST or EST? Okay. So it's 12 o'clock here? Okay. So that's the time for the institute. That's the link. An email was sent out. This is where you have, Mufti Hussein Kamani, Sheikh Abdul Nasir Janda. They will actually go through in detail all the fiqh-related questions. I'm sure you'll have the opportunity to ask those questions as well. Okay. Now, before I go any further, this is something that we unfortunately have to do, and that is a disclaimer. We're providing you this information based on our experience, and we are sincere in doing so. However, not everything can be predicted in Hajj. Many things are dynamic, many things go beyond our control. Over the years, you'll have someone come back to you and say, but you promised me this, or you told me that, or you showed me that. And we don't want to get into that. So we're letting you know What we're about to present following these slides about possible setup, what to expect, what happens in Mina and so forth, based on our experience. It's not something that may or may not happen because things could change. I'll give you a prime example. Last year, when we were in Medina on the 29th of Zulqa'dah, the next day, according to the administrative calendar, was the 1st of Zulhijjah. They said, sorry, the moon wasn't sighted. It's now 30th of Zulqa'dah. So what does that do to the itinerary? Do you stay an extra day? Do you move on? How do we handle that? Right? So you have people saying different things, but Dar es-Salaam had to deal with it over there as such. We have situations sometimes that are beyond our control. The bus breaks down, not because we didn't give you a good bus, but it's still a mechanical thing. It could break down. It's very easy to actually start picking up the pebbles and throwing it at Dar es-Salaam, right? Either now or you come back later on. That's why this disclaimer is there. It is strictly being provided to you for your information to help you, and it is subject to change. And that's all there is. It's not meant to be like, I'm going to do something different and I know about it, you don't know about it. There's nothing, sleight of hand here. It's just when you live in this country, you have to make sure you have a legal protection associated with it because of what we went through in the past. Okay, important considerations. For the last 2 years, we have noticed that Hajj is moving into hot temperature. Last year, the day Hajj was starting in Mecca, the temperature was 110 Fahrenheit or 42 Celsius. Okay? 2 weeks ago, I was fortunate enough to be in Mecca in the last 10 nights of Ramadan, and I couldn't find a ride to go for Jummah, so I had to walk for 10 minutes in 115 degrees while fasting. Do you think I should blame someone for that? But I should prepare for it, correct? That's what this intended. One of the things that we face here is that people don't realize they get dehydrated. Dr. Maqsood covered this thing. So take this seriously. We've decided to post some things for you. Whatever your doctor says is okay for you to take, don't just go out and buy one of these. If you're diabetic, you can't take this because of the sugar content. Consult your physician, but address how you keep yourself hydrated. It's important because Hajj is in summer. Simple as that. These are just samples that you need to actually take with you. You'll probably not use it in Mecca and Medina, but you'll definitely require it in Mina, definitely in Arafat, definitely in Muzdalifah. And I'll tell you in sequence as to which is worse. We have tried this before. This is called a cold pack. It actually is not cold when you buy it. You actually crush it, and then you see it becomes cold and stays cold for a while. Again, you won't need it in Mecca and Medina. It's about $2 each. It comes in a pack of 24. But in Arafat, you might use it. Muzdalifah definitely required. It was uncomfortably hot. It was just stifling hot. There was no wind. It was very difficult to pass the night, right? And of course, train station. I'll explain to you why I'm staying at the train station, because sometimes the wait times is fairly long in the train station. And my experience, I was with Brother Muhammad Mustafa 2 years ago. Some people decided that to avoid using public bathrooms in Muzdalifah, let's not drink too much in Arafat. And as we lined up in the hot weather at the Arafat train station, about 5 people in a span of half an hour simply collapsed. Heat exhaustion. So you run, scramble. We found the physician. Somebody had the rehydration salt. Somebody had the water. We gave it to them. We called the ambulance. The ambulance shows up an hour later, says, not a serious case, handle it, leaves. Why? Because they only handle serious cases. There's too many calls for ambulances, right? Unlike here. So prepare yourself. It's going to be hot. You need to make sure you're hydrated. Cold packs help, right? As such. Prolonged exposure to sun. Stay in shade. A lot of people tell me, brother, I need to go to Jabal al-Rahmah. Why? Did the Prophet ﷺ actually climb the mountain? No, he didn't. Did he not say all of Arafat is a place of wuquf? Yes, he did. So why don't you take advantage of that? Right? So these are the kinds of things that you use common sense. If you are taking daily supplements that is compatible with your health, you should take that as well, besides your prescription medicine, if that helps, because you will need energy. The energy boost is required in the manasik. Arafat, Muzdalifah especially, right? About in the 80s, my presentation used to say take glucose tablets, because those days you could buy glucose tablets. You probably still can. You could buy salt tablets. But I don't say that anymore, buy that, because I know people are diabetic or they have some sodium issues. So I'm careful by saying, whatever you're taking, you need energy and you need to be immune as much as you can boost your immune system, because it's easy to get sick, especially during the manasik. So I'm leaving it at that. As far as clothing is concerned, take light colored clothing. Women wear black abayas. They like black abayas. But then again, black color absorbs sunlight. Nobody says you cannot wear white abayas. So take light colored clothing. You know, I've given examples of, for the men, thobe, shalwar kameez, baggy pants made of cotton. Women have to wear abayas to cover themselves, but inside they can have very light colored clothing because they're covering themselves anyway. They don't have to be stifling hot, for example. So those are the suggestions, right? And there's enough food, the 2 times of open buffet meal. And if you have to buy something outside, don't buy open food, you know, because it doesn't take too long for it to get, you know, bad. You can buy things that you can peel. Go buy some bananas from Bin Dawood stores, or apple or oranges. You want snacks, you can do the snacks in the afternoon. But the 2 meals a day is more than sufficient as such. Okay, so that's hydration, hot weather. These slides are available to you. This presentation is recorded. Think about what you need, make up your list, consult your doctor. Then comes the question of wheelchair, which was already asked of me earlier by one of the persons in a question here. I think I'm going to cover that. I have broken it down into 4 categories. Wheelchair means something to you. It may mean something else to us. Let's just break it down. 1, I only need it at the airport. Simple as that. That's the only use of wheelchair, at the airport. Here at JFK, when I land in Jeddah, and the same thing on the way back. All you have to do is make sure that request goes to Dar es Salaam through your designated agent, so it is put as part of your reservation. Because that's something that is part of your airline reservation. So when you get to the airport, you show the boarding card to the special assistance desk, they give you the wheelchair and the assistance to go with it. That's one category of wheelchair. During travel only at the airports. Second category is, but I have difficulty walking, I think I will need wheelchair for tawaf and sa'i. I will not need it for anything else, just only when I'm in the haram for tawaf and sa'i. In which case, I've broken it down as to the categories itself. You will actually rent the wheelchair and the person who pushes it at the time you need it. You actually have to negotiate, almost like haggle. So basically, you come out from the hotel with your group leader, you go to the edge of the courtyard and you say, well, how much? What you also do is you also tell him, where are you going to drop me off? It's very important, because if you're doing sa'i, you're doing umrah, Marwa is on the other side of the hotel. You're done, he's going to drop you off over there. You say, no, I want you to pick me up from in front of my hotel, drop me off back in the hotel. How much? You negotiate the price. You have to carry extra cash for this service, but you keep the money. The person in the wheelchair is going to keep the money, and do not give it to the person until the service is completed. Otherwise, it's going to drop you off somewhere else and look for the next customer. That's why I'm saying the usage is between $100 to $130, because it's a haggle. If the haram is crowded or you're a heavy person, the price is going to be higher. They actually look at you and kind of make a decision. You know, so if you haven't been to a flea market, you can go now and start practicing how to haggle. The third one says, no, I need a wheelchair, and a family member is going to push this wheelchair. Well, that means you're going to need it for more than tawaf and sa'i. There's a family member present to push the wheelchair. In which case, the best thing to do is you can buy a wheelchair easily. They're available in pharmacies. They roughly cost $100. Actually, it's cheaper than that, right? All I ask is, you should take with you a bicycle lock, because when you are in Mina, you cannot put the wheelchair inside the tent. It'll be outside the tent, and then somebody temporarily borrows it when you need it. To avoid that, you lock it up. Simple as that. And you can donate the wheelchair at the end, or you can bring it back. It's up to you. So in which case, buy it, use it, leave it. You have somebody to push it, you don't have to worry about it. The fourth category is I need wheelchair and I don't have anybody to push it. There's actually a question already posted in the forum, I have yet to answer it. In which case you have to speak to us, because then we have to give you a quotation. If it is during the manasik, then it's not as simple as I'm hiring somebody and he's going to be available. Actually, I'm hiring somebody who's going to perform Hajj, because he's going to stay with you in Mina, he's going to sleep there, he's going to eat there. So it's much more than simple hiring somebody, right? As a matter of fact, if you're going to do that and you're going to hire this person who's going to perform Hajj, you can actually ask him to perform Hajj on behalf of some of your relative, if one of your relative, if you wanted to do that. So it's much bigger than that. So in which case, call us. It's not easy to make those arrangements over there. I've had somebody say, oh brother, can you hire someone now? I only need it between Arafat and Muzdalifah. It doesn't work because the mashayir is locked down. You cannot find somebody who's only available in Arafat and stops in Muzdalifah. No such thing. It's going to be the entire manasik. Follow me? So I'm letting you know that we provide this service, has to be known now, has to be quoted now. It's very difficult to get someone over there at that time on the fly. So these are the 4 types of wheelchair services, okay? About electrical power. I think Brother Muhammad Fathi is the best person. He's been with Dar es Salaam a number of years, and I think he's our Dar es Salaam techie. If I may ask Brother Fathi to come to the podium, because you may have to use this, the clicker. Brother Fathi is with Dar es Salaam for a number of years. He's going this year, inshallah, as the operation manager for Program 1. But he is our technical go-to person when it comes to phones and Wi-Fi's. You can go ahead and use it, basically click it.
Assalamu alaikum. I spoke to some of you at the tables for Program 1, A, B, and C. Again, my name is Muhammad Fathi. I will be the operation manager for Program 1. But again, this is general knowledge for everyone here. When you go to Saudi Arabia, you have to understand the electrical power there. When it comes to your cell phones, 95% of your phones have dual voltage chargers. So if you looked at the back of your charger, it'll say 100 to 240 volt, meaning that's an international charger. However, you will not be able to put it into the socket in Saudi Arabia. So what you're going to need, and there's 2 options for this, you will need adapters. Now, if you would like to be ready beforehand, you can go on Amazon or eBay and purchase these adapters for about $1 a piece, okay? Now, some of the hotels in Saudi and Mecca and Medina, through the housekeeping, will offer this for you free of charge. However, if 400 rooms call for an adapter, they're not going to have enough. So just be ready beforehand to have a EU plug. Saudi Arabia uses the EU plug. See there? However, some hotels use the UK plug, which is the one on the bottom. So there's actually a universal one that's shown on the bottom in the middle there. That's UK and EU plug together. Okay, so that you would need to charge your phones. Again, as Brother Azhar brought up, we're going to be keeping in contact with you via WhatsApp. So it's critical to charge your phone every night. Okay. Yeah. So again, it says there USA and Canada 120 volt. Saudi Arabia uses 220. So with your chargers, it says it works from a range of 100 volt to 240 maximum. So your chargers should be fine. Also, if you bring your tablets or laptops, they are also dual voltage as well. On top of bringing these adapters, we highly recommend that you also bring power banks to utilize in the camps, in Mina, in Arafat, and to have with you in Muzdalifah. The reason for this is the electrical outlets will not be widely available in the camps like your hotels. So you remember, you're going to be spending 3 to 4 days out in literally desert camps. So they're in your camp or tent, there might be 2 outlets for 10 brothers. So that will not be enough. So we recommend that you purchase a 20,000 milliamp power bank. And these are really reasonably priced nowadays. You can go on Amazon, purchase one for $15 or $20. So we recommend the 20,000 milliamp version. Why? Because your phones are average 3,000 milliamp batteries. So if you times 3,000 times 6, that's 18,000. You can charge your phone 6 times over with one charge on this. Okay, so just keep that in mind. We strongly recommend that you purchase power banks so you can charge your phones while you're in Mina, Arafat, and Muzdalifah. This is what you will need the power banks for. When you're back in the hotel, you can use the electrical outlets, inshallah. Another thing is, again, make sure it's charged before you head to Mina. For those that are in program 1, when you're in Aziziyah, charge it before you leave to the hotels. The other higher programs, if you're leaving from the hotels, again, make sure you're charging it before we head to Mina, inshallah. Now, another important consideration, again, communication will be critical. So we want to make sure that you have what you need there. So we spoke about the electrical outlets in Saudi Arabia and the power banks. Now we're going to speak about the Wi-Fi connections, how it will work out in Saudi Arabia and the hotels. Now in Mecca and Medina, all hotels have some sort of Wi-Fi. Okay? Some hotels have different policies, however. For example, in Medina, they're a little more lax on their policy and they will offer you complimentary Wi-Fi. However, when you head to Mecca, the hotel will charge you for the Wi-Fi. Average about 50 riyal a day. So that's about almost $15. Okay? So if I were to send you a WhatsApp message and you do not have Wi-Fi or 3G, you're not going to receive the message. So staying in contact, it will be key. So if you purchase the Wi-Fi, that's great in the hotel in Mecca, or you can use a SIM card and use the 3G or 4G service on your phone. Now when it comes to Mina, we will, as Dar es Salaam, offer you complimentary Wi-Fi. However, you just have to understand that we are putting basic routers, and they're all 4G routers, and there's about 2,500 people in the camp. So, mashallah, we bring the largest amount of North American Hajj. Our camp is going to hold 2,500 people. So 2,500 people trying to log in on these routers, there will be network overload. You might not get hardly any speeds on your phone. So at peak times, you're not going to be able to upload or download a web page. Less peak times, you'll be able to get through. So on our part, we will do it as best as we can as to offer you Wi-Fi in the camp. However, these routers are sharing network towers, and imagine how many people are in a 1 kilometer radius in Mecca, or I'm sorry, in Mina. So it's not only our camp that's going to have a problem, it's everyone else there. For those 4 days, using internet is probably the hardest, I would say the hardest way to communicate via internet is in Mina and Arafat and Muzdalifah via 3G or 4G, because you have 2 million other people trying to get on either the Mobile network or the Saudi Telecom network, or the other network there is Zain. So not only you will have a problem with the internet, everyone else. It will be very slow. That's why, again, we recommend the WhatsApp, because it uses low bandwidth data. When you send a message with a WhatsApp, it hardly uses any data. However, if you call somebody or use a voice over IP, the phone call or the audio will not go through. Again, that's why we recommend the WhatsApp, because it's been tested through and through, that it does work even with low bandwidth or network overloaded routers in our camp. So just keep that in mind, that the network will be a little slow in Min, Arafat, and Muzdalifah, but with WhatsApp messages, the messages 95% of the time will still go through. Now in Aziziyah, we will also offer you Wi-Fi. Again, just keep in mind, in the building, there will probably be about 500 people, okay, one whole building. So keep in mind that there's going to be a lot of people using the Wi-Fi. So we suggest, again, once we figure out the SIM policy, we will offer you the SIM card, or you can go on your own to Mobily or Saudi Telecom, give them your fingerprint and purchase a SIM card there to use your own data. They sell SIM cards there strictly for data only, so you don't have to get it for phone calls. They sell 1 gigabyte packages, 2 gigabyte packages. A 2 gigabyte package can last you your whole duration of your Hajj trip. So it's about 60 or 70 riyal for 2 gigabyte. Now remember, the hotels are charging 50 riyal a day. So it's really not economical to use the Wi-Fi in the hotels, but it is better to purchase your own SIM card and have your own Wi-Fi internet wherever you go. Okay? And again, the SIM cards will require that you visit a store, and Brother Azhar said, bring your proper ID. You won't have your passports, so keep that in mind, but you will have the Dar es Salaam ID. That is a form of identification in Saudi Arabia. So that's why, please walk around with your IDs. You show them your Dar es Salaam ID, they register it to the computer, they take your fingerprint, and they give you the SIM card right there. All the hotels, they have the mobile operators downstairs, inshallah, in the lobbies. Jazakallah kullu khair.
Jazakallah khair, Brother Muhammad Fathi. Thank you for that information. The SIM card, we'll let you know in about middle of August what the solution is, and then we'll go from there, inshallah. So, question. Should you take a simple phone or a smartphone? There's too many tasbeehs to give out now. Okay, raise your hand, whoever said smartphone. Go ahead. Give out the tasbeehs, inshallah. Okay. The next topic is important. We measure ourselves very differently when we're in North America than we do when we're over there. Okay? That's to do with the hotel check-ins and the rooms. Now, if you go to a North American hotel and you say, I want 4 beds in a room, what do you get? 2 normal beds and 2 what? Temporary bed. So why is it that you expect 4 beds in a room over there? It's no different. So I wanted you to know this, that a standard hotel room in Saudi Arabia consists of 2 standard beds and 2 rollaway beds or cots. And the reason I'm mentioning this is because, you registered in a shared accommodation, you're going by yourself and you say, I want to go in a triple or a quad. You're going by yourself. So we're going to room you with other, let's say if you're a man, we're going to room you with other men. And you walk in the room and you see 2 standard beds and 1 rollaway bed. So you take out your Jamarat stones early. You see a Dar es Salaam guy and you say, did I not pay the same amount? Why am I getting that one? Well, the rate for a triple is the rate for a triple. That's what we get charged and we pass it on. What we don't do is tell you which among you is going to be in a temporary bed. That's not something for us to do. We just give you 3 in a room. Let the people in the room decide that. Use some courtesy. Maybe somebody who is elderly should get the bed, and somebody who can handle it can get the rollaway bed. This is where the ayah comes in. وَمَا تَفْعَلُوا مِنْ خَيْرٍ يَعْلَمُهُ اللَّهُ. Remember that. I cannot govern who gets the temporary bed. If it's a family of 4 in a quad, then the family members can fight it out. There's no Jamarat stones required for Dar es Salaam at that time. It's better for you to know this now than be surprised by it, because then shaitan takes over. They think you've been cheated. That's the way it is over there. The only exception that I've seen is that some rooms in Medina Movenpick actually quad room has 4 beds, right? So you go to Move and Pick in Medina. If your program starts there, you go into a quad room, you get your 4 beds, you're happy, you don't say anything. Then you come to Mecca and you don't find it. That's where we get into trouble again. So it's not that you found it in Medina and therefore you should have it in Mecca. It's just that the standard is this. Move and Pick has decided that they will put 4 beds in most of the rooms. Even if you're double occupancy, your husband and wife, you walk into the room and say, how come there's 4 beds? They don't want to remove the other 2 beds. There'll be nobody else showing up, but that's the configuration. Okay? So these are the little nuances you will find as to how they run the rooms over there. It's better for you to know that the third or the fourth bed in a triple and a quad occupancy are, generally speaking, temporary beds. There are hotels like Swiss Hotel will have some true triple rooms with 3 twin beds, but they don't tell you that. We tell them how many of which configuration we need. When the time comes, they say, okay, here it is. This is a triple. And you can walk into that room and find out it's true triple, or you can walk into the room and find out it's 2 double, the third one is a temporary bed. This is not something that Dar es Salaam controls, if you will. Follow me? So it's better for you to know. This is how the shared accommodation works. The second part is, generally speaking, if you go to the website even now, the check-in time is 4 p.m. But even that doesn't work during Hajj time. That doesn't work during Hajj time. It works because of the sheer volume of people. They will check out, then the rooms will be cleaned. We have staff that's diligently chasing the housekeeping guys. Hey, can you do this room and can you do that room? So we can get the room done early. We actually do our work. But if you arrive early, just like you would arrive here early in the morning, you may not get the room. If they give you the room, it's because they're being generous. It doesn't mean you're entitled to a room until check-in time. The same rule applies over there, except it's worse because the hotels are completely full. If you want me to give you an example, I'll give you a live example. How many people are here for program 2? Okay, not too many. So I'll be the operation manager for program 2, inshallah. And if you notice that you're coming into your hotel room in Mecca on September the 16th, that's what it says in the ebook. Happens to be the 14th of Dhul Hijjah, which is when you're supposed to start your occupancy. Happens to be a Friday. So when do you think you're going to get your room? You think any of those guys who are already in the room are going to leave the room before Jummah prayers? No. So I don't expect that you're going to get your room before Maghrib. I'd rather that you know this than be surprised. Right? So think through. You're not alone. The hotel are at full capacity. People are leaving. People are coming. And the housekeeping has to continuously go out and clean the rooms. We will do our best for early arrivals to accommodate you. And we do chase them and to get the rooms done. But there may be wait time, especially those who are arriving at 9 o'clock in the morning. Right? You will not get the room right away as such. Okay. The next is a subset of itinerary. I'm going to walk through each one of them. Departure from USA, arrival in Medina, stay in Medina, arrival in Jeddah, stay in Mecca. Those who are in the apartment hotel, the Mina and so forth, all the way till the end of Hajj. I'm going to ask if I could, Brother Ahmed, if you could come in and speak to the departure from USA. I don't know of anybody else who is as experienced as far as airline is concerned, and I've known Brother Ahmed for how many years now? Too long? MashaAllah. So, Brother Ahmed Atif, please, if you would like to come and explain the next 2 slides, I'd appreciate that.
By the way, you're not giving out.
Well, I said give out the tasbih for all 5 hands that went up.
What's that? What happened?
Go ahead. This is a clicker. You need to actually do more than 1 slide, right?
That's right?
So this one right now is on. Go back. It's on.
All right, there you go. Assalamu alaikum. How's everyone? Alhamdulillah. My name is Ahmed Muhammad. I believe you get most of the emails, the annoying emails from me. So I apologize for that, but I'm hoping you'll find them useful. You're going to get tons of other emails, inshallah, in the next month. Especially 2 weeks prior to departure, you're probably going to get an email every day as a reminder. It's kind of like a countdown. So we're hoping that it's exciting, and it kind of gives some reminders, information of mashallah, the extensive, seminar or presentation by Brother Azhar, of course, on the forum. This part about departure from the United States, obviously everyone here is departing from JFK. Is that correct? Well, Washington, excellent. All right, and of course, the viewers online are probably going from other destinations as well. So one recommendation, obviously, is arrive at the airport early. What does that mean, arrive at the airport early? How many hours? 3 hours, there you go. So that is the golden rule, 3 hours prior. It's better safe than sorry. The same applies also to domestic travel. Domestic travel is important as well. So if you're coming domestically, right, we always recommend to have a cushion of 5 hours between the international and the domestic flight. Why do we say that? We say that because in the event there's a cancellation or a delay or a possible issue with that flight, that you have at least a secondary flight you can get on. All right? So it's better safe than sorry. Arriving in JFK or Washington Dulles Airport or any other airport, Chicago or wherever it may be, it's better to stay at the airport an hour or two extra, right, than miss possibly the flight to go to Hajj. So that's very important, all right? Obviously, ensure your luggage, your checked-in luggage has a Dar es Salaam provided luggage tag. The luggage tag that Brother Azhar had mentioned earlier, I believe it was a red color, the one that you saw. Every program is color-coded, all right? And again, sometimes when we arrive in Medina or Mecca or Jeddah, and some people say, brother, you know, when do you want me to put the luggage tag, right? Because it is assumed that the luggage tag is needed there or when you're returning or so on. It's important that you do it here. Because when it lands, the bags, sometimes if it's delayed or it's potentially lost initially the first couple of days, they put it in a very big room like this one with thousands of bags, all right? So you're going to be spending a few days worried about your bag, and we're going to have probably a few team members of Dar es Salaam looking for that bag, all right? And you can imagine how many black ones and gray ones and so on, unless you have a pink one. I don't know, maybe we can find it. So luggage tag is very important. Connection. Do not check in your luggage to Saudi Arabia when checking in for your domestic flight, right? But you're going to say, well, I might have spoken to the Delta agent and she was so sweet and she said, you know what, I can connect it for you, right? Okay? If there's a delay or something happens, you have to remember JFK Airport, and I'm sure many of us traveled from JFK Airport, there's about 7 terminals. Right? So getting the bag from Delta to Saudi Airlines in Terminal 1 possibly or Terminal 4 might take some time. If you don't get that bag on the international flight, there's a strong chance that you will not have your bag throughout the Hajj. Okay? Assume that. Okay? Especially if you're connecting somewhere. So if you're going on Turkish or Emirates and you're going, I don't know, Minneapolis to Chicago, New York, Dubai to Jeddah, and your bag doesn't arrive in one of the points, it's going to take almost forever to get there. Not to mention also that you're arriving in a destination, and your bag, if it comes 3 or 4 days later, you may be somewhere else, right? So the better thing is check it in yourself in the international flight, right? So that's pretty much this slide. Next slide. Do you want to continue, Brother Azhar? Yeah. We'll have Brother Azhar continue, inshallah. All right? So again, airport, how many hours before? 3 hours. And if you're connecting domestic? 5 hours. There you go. Jazakallah khair. Huh? Tasbih for everyone.
Jazakallah khair, Brother Ahmed. Continuing on this one. This is put in there for a reason. Program 1C, Program 3A, 3B. It has happened a few times, almost at least one person every year. So you check your bag in and you forget the fact that you have to be in the state of ihram by the time you land, and your ihram is in your check bag. So this is a reminder, and I'll show you a checklist later on in the presentation when you're packing. You make sure that your ihram and the accessories associated with the ihram, like your slippers, your money belt or belt, is all in your hand carry. And hand carry is the one like a roll-on bag that goes in the top of an aircraft. You will need that roll-on bag anyway, because that's the same roll-on bag you're going to take to Mina with your clothes. So everybody gets a hand carry, not a backpack that we give you, but a hand carry. And you will either change into the garment of ihram. If you're transiting through Middle East, Istanbul, you can change it into the ihram garment. Does not mean that you're in the state of ihram, because you did not make the intention yet. If you're flying on Emirates or Etihad, you will change into the garment in Abu Dhabi or Dubai, and you'll get on the connecting flight, and you will only make the intention when the miqat is approaching. That's the difference here. So, which means you would prepare physically with all the requirements for ihram from home. The ladies don't get to change. So the clothes they're wearing from home is the clothes they enter into the state of ihram. Remember that. The clothes you wear from home is the clothes you're going to enter into the state of ihram. Men has to, of course, get into the different clothes. Now, what does that mean? This means that if I arrive in Mecca now, I'm in program 3, I've arrived in Mecca, and I've been wearing this for a long time, it's like 25 hours. I don't like to go to the haram with these clothes. Can I take a quick shower and change my ihram? Can I? Yes? Tasbih, please. Okay. You can. Nothing wrong with changing it. It's just that don't wash yourself with any perfumed soap. So I will cover that later on. I tell everybody to take a small unscented soap. I take Dove unscented for myself. And I take a dollar store plastic soap box. Put in there. It's in my hand carry. I take it with me. Because when I get to the hotel, I wash my hands with that soap, because the hotel soaps are all perfumed. I can take a shower. Nothing wrong with it. I'm not going to be aggressive with my hair. Well, I don't have to be anyway. But be careful so you don't lose any of that. Right? You can shower and change. That's basically what I'm saying. Now you've arrived in Medina. Let's say this is a Medina first program. Make sure that you actually are responsible for your baggage while you're inside. Dar es Salaam does not collect your bag from inside. You're going to take it, claim the bag, take it through customs, bring it outside. If the bag is lost, don't come outside until you file a baggage claim report, no different than any other airport. And we will need the original of that baggage claim report for our guy to constantly go into that lost baggage hall to see if it's arrived again. File it, then come back. And as you're leaving, there's a guy from the Ministry of Hajj saying, give me the passport. This is the most uncomfortable thing you go through. What? He's going to keep it? Yeah. Will I see it again? Why do you worry about it? I mean, you get to stay over there. No, this is their process. We don't question it. They keep it. We have people that track it. So we give them the passport and you walk into the bus. That's it. This your bag is. Dar es Salaam representatives are outside. They will direct you to the appropriate bus and you'll go through. Now anybody here traveling with the green card? Anybody with the green card, not a US passport. Now you need the green card only because you're going to come back to the States. There is nothing, there is no regulation, there is no requirement, there is no stipulation where anybody in Saudi Arabia is going to ask for your green card or should you show it to them. So that remains with you, not with your passport, right? The only time they will ask you for your green card is when you are at the airport checking in for the return flight. They want to see that you have the green card so you could enter the United States. Other than that, the Mutawif doesn't need it, Dar es Salaam doesn't need it, nobody needs it. So make sure you keep it in a safe place, okay? We'll direct you, load your luggage. You always keep your valuables with you. Don't just give out the, here's my luggage, here's my purse. Don't do that. Just keep the valuables with you. Let them handle the luggage. And then you will be taken to the hotel room. It's about 35 minutes once the bus leaves to get to the hotel. That's the proximity of the airport to the hotel. And this is a nice little map that I want to share with you. It shows you Masjid al-Nabawi. This is the courtyard. You can see all those white things. These are the umbrellas in the courtyard that is opened up during the daytime to shade the courtyard from the sun. And women's entrance, and so forth. There are 2 hotels we're using in combination of all the programs for this year's Hajj. One is Move and Pick, and the other one is Medina Hilton, and both of them are close proximity to the Haram. Right? Money exchanges are nearby, and the group leaders are there to also help you with the other things around the areas if you wanted to buy some things and so forth. We'll help you. Masjid Nabawi is not usually as crowded. Your group leader comes in at this time. 2 things happen when you're in Medina, in the Medina First program. The imams will be engaging with you after dinner for lectures. And the group leaders will be available telling you every step of the way. How do you prepare your luggage for movement? When are we moving to the next step? So these 2 people will now engage full time with you for your respective group. And so make sure that you understand where they are located so you can contact them. Right? That's it. When you're going for ziyarah, we're going to have ziyarah, which means you're going to go from Masjid al-Nabawi, from your hotel. And this year we have scheduled the ziyarah immediately after Fajr. We did not do it at 8 o'clock, so hot. So after Fajr, meaning that the bus leaves at 6, and you're back, and then you go for your restaurant. Restaurants are open until 10, 10:30. So you'll be back by 9 o'clock. So when you do that, take some spare change with you and take your phone with you. Just in case. That's just a precaution, in case you need to contact somebody. Now the reason I put this thing in is because people who actually experience the services in Mecca first, then go to Medina, they feel they can sense the degradation in services between Mecca and Medina. That's the way it is. If I'm in Mecca Hilton, which I'm not, then I go to Medina Hilton, Mecca Hilton is a superior service than Medina Hilton. Don't ask me why. So the reason I put that in there is because the services in Mecca seems to be higher than it is in Medina. And when you experience that, going to Mecca and then to Medina, you feel like you've been shortchanged. That's not what we're doing. When you start in Medina, then you go to Mecca, you think that, wow, this is fantastic. This is great. Then we bring you to Mina. That's another story. Luggage pickup is already there in your ebook. It's generally speaking 6 p.m. from Medina. There'll be special tags for that, not those red tags. There'll be other tagging given to you, and just follow the instructions for that. And make sure that whenever we're saying luggage pickup, it means the checked luggage, not your hand carry, not your meds, not your valuables. Okay? That you keep always with you. It goes with you, travel with you. Okay. Arrival in Jeddah. Jeddah has a special terminal called the Hajj terminal. That's where they process all the Hajjis. It is improved over the years, but it still takes a while. Depends on which gate they put you in. If there's a flight from Nigeria ahead of you, you might be staying there for a little while longer. Okay? Same routine. You're going to go through customs. You're going to go pick up your luggage. You're going to go outside. Dar es Salaam folks normally ask for your passport because they have to arrange for the buses. As Brother Muhammad Mustafa mentioned, that the buses from the airport to the hotel are not Dar es Salaam buses. It's regulated that they will provide the buses. So the quality is sometimes not all that great. So we have to go out and say, I have people in one seat, they just arrived, I have so many people. Can I have a bus, please? They actually want to see the passport. So we have to collect the passport from you, show it to them, arrange for the bus, and then they'll return the passport. Then you will all collect your passport, you'll walk to the bus, and they'll take the passport again from you, just like in kindergarten. Just line up one by one, and that's how they handle it. So just follow the instructions, right? They will, but green card, anybody with green card stays with you, okay? And this is something I've already mentioned. So the buses are third party, not Dar es Salaam's buses. So your first experience with buses might be, these are the buses, they said something else. That's because it's government mandated buses. And that's the way it is over there. But the distance from Jeddah to Mecca is 45 miles, roughly speaking. But you will stop at checkpoints. So here's the question. How long will it be from the moment your plane lands till you show up at your hotel in Mecca when Mecca is 45 miles away? Who said 6 hours? All right, another tasbih here, 6 hours. It takes an average of 6 hours. So imagine traveling for such a long time, and you're already in Jeddah, 45 miles away. It takes a lot of patience at that time. It takes an average of 6 hours because of the process at Jeddah airport. Now you've arrived in Mecca. Proximity of the Haram. 2 gates to remember. King Abdul Aziz Gate, which is under construction but was opened in Ramadan and will be open for Hajj inshallah. And King Fahad Gate. Almost every one of you will use the King Abdul Aziz Gate because that's the closest. Okay? This is the clock tower building. At the bottom of the picture that you see, the big tower, that's the clock tower building at the bottom of the picture. This entire building set with those canopies, this is where the Fairmont Hotel is, which is in the clock tower. And this is where the Swiss Hotel is. And within the clock tower is the Raffles Hotel. You all go down to the ground floor in this building complex. And then you walk from the ground floor. You walk on the ground floor till you come out to this ramp that you see in here. And this is taking you straight into King Abdulaziz Gate. There's a little ramp, right, as such. So that's your entrance. There are barber shops and local laundry, and your group leaders can help you with that. There's a money exchanger inside as well. Okay? We'll help you with check-in. Haram is crowded. So if you're thinking of, okay, Maghrib is in half an hour, let me leave my room now, chances are you won't make it. You won't get to the courtyard. It's that crowded. Sometimes people crowd the courtyard because they want to leave early, even though the masjid inside is empty. Or lazy. Same thing with Masjid al-Nabawi, right? They will pray outside because they can leave faster. The reward of prayers worth more than 1,000 times in Masjid al-Nabawi actually applies to the Masjid al-Nabawi. It does not apply to outside. You should be inside the masjid. Unless, of course, the masjid inside is full and the lines come out, then it's okay. But if inside is empty, then you should go inside. So allow extra time. And any instructions will be provided by your group leader. Restaurants and services are much better. And again, watch out for the luggage. Pick up instructions. And again, keep your hand carry safe with you. Let me give you an example of that. So let's say you are in program 4. Program 4 here? Quite a few? Okay. You're in program 4. This is the 7th of Zulhijjah. I'm about to leave. You would have received the instruction on how to tag your luggage, when to put it out. I will pick it up. All you have with you is your hand carry and all the stuff you will need for Mina. Okay? The next morning you will be in Ihram and you will depart. Your luggage is gone. When do you think you'll see your luggage again? Anyone? Jeddah airport. Sorry, Jeddah hotel. Okay? So that's how we manage it. Right? We also provide a valuables services. We don't advertise it. So on the 7th of Zulhijjah, if you're on program 1 or 2 in Aziziyah, or if you're on program 4 or 3 or 5 in Mecca, we will offer you to keep your valuables, credit cards, debit cards, extra cash, no laptops. We will give you a specific envelope. You will put it in. We don't know the content. You will seal it. You will write information. We'll tell you. You will come to us in a specific place at a specific time and deposit it with us. We'll have you sign for it. And after the manasik, you'll pick it up. What that does, it gives you sort of a worry-free manasik. Follow me? You may have just a few hundred riyals in your pocket as a change. Right? And if you end up needing more money because you forgot, Dar es Salaam people are there to loan you money when you need it. We've done that in the past and we'll continue to support in that fashion. Program 1 and 2 will be in Aziziyah. I want to show you a Google map of Aziziyah, apartment hotel, the proximity of apartment hotel to the Mina camp. Where you see it says apartment hotel and you see Mina camp, that approximately is about 1.25 miles. When you see the apartment hotel and you see the Haram on the left side, the bottom, that is about 3.5 miles. It's not necessarily the distance, it's also the crowd, the traffic, right? Sometimes walking is faster, but then I don't want you to walk in 110 degrees either. So this is a close-up of the apartment hotel. I'm showing you the apartment hotel here, and this is the close-up. We have approximately 3 buildings in this area. This is the road that goes into Mina, by the way, through the tunnel. And this is where you'll be staying. This is the first set of buildings just outside of Mina. First set of buildings. Okay. Program 1 and 2, while you are there until the 8th of Zulhijjah, prayer services and lectures will be held. The shuyukhs will be with you. The imams will be with you. The group leaders will be with you. We will provide you with the meal services. We have said the buses will take you to the haram twice a day. Once for Fajr, and the other time will be for combined Maghrib and Isha. Maghrib and Isha, the time is an hour and 15 minutes in between. So normally when people go to the haram for Maghrib, they don't come back to the hotel. They stay till after Isha. Because you have about an hour and 10 minutes. By the time you fight the crowd to come back to the hotel, it's time to go back in again. And so the buses will take you to a Shuhada Hotel, which is our pickup drop-off point, and then we'll bring you back in. And the rest is dependent on traffic conditions. Okay? We also want you to know, in case you didn't read it in the website, all those who have chosen double occupancy or triple occupancy in programs 1 and 2, that the double and triple occupancies only apply to the hotels in Mecca and Medina. It does not apply to Aziziyah. Everybody in Aziziyah is quad occupancy. So that should not come as a surprise. A lot of people have not read it. It's been there from day one on our website. We keep emphasizing is Aziziyah is quad occupancy. And we try to do the rooming in such a way that one floor will be all women and one floor will be all men. So there is at least some privacy. Mina. I want to share with you something that is important. I'm showing in Mina, the map of Mina. If you look carefully, this is the Dar es-Salaam camp on the top left side, and in front of it is the Jamarat of the canopies. What I'm also showing you is the North American camp. What does that mean? Are we not North American? We are North American. Well, in general, people who go for Hajj go to the North American camp. And the North American camp is in the other extreme of Mina. And the services there are boxed meals. It's not the same services. And it is approximately 45 to 50 minutes walking distance one way to the Jamarat. The traffic in the valley, this picture does not tell you the fact that these are mountains and these are mountains on both sides. So this is a valley. The traffic in the valley does not run because you can't. They just shut it down. There's too many people. So Dar es-Salaam, when we say we have these tents in front of the Jamarat, it is something special. We've been doing year after year. We actually pay a premium, not for the services, which is on top of it, but just to be in that location. Follow me? We actually pay somewhere around 7,000 riyals per person as an entrance fee to that location. Follow me? So this is something that I want you to know. When people compare, sometimes they call you and say, how come yours is this and this is this? Well, you're staying in North American camp. Yeah, but there's a difference between the location of the camp and then the icings on the cake is the services in the camp, which I'll share with you in a moment. Okay? Now, Brother Sharif Mehdi, my dear friend and my competitor as to who gives the adhan in Arafat, has been with us Dar es-Salaam for a number of years. He is a person, you see him in Mina, but he's in the background. He actually shows up in Mina long before Hujjaj show up. He is one of those prime person responsible for setting up Mina. So what I have pulled up here is a close-up of the Dar es-Salaam camp that you see a little triangle in the circle there. That's where our camp is, and this is a improved image, and I would love for Brother Sharif to come and share with you something that you would not otherwise know as to what goes in setting up the camp, what condition it's in when we first get possession of it, and how early we get possession of it, and then what happens in setting it up, because this gentleman over here is instrumental in making sure it gets set up. You don't see him sleeping until you guys have all checked in on the 8th of Zulhijjah. SubhanAllah. May Allah bless you for it. If you could please come forward. And I have one more click to go. You want me to click it now or you want to? Okay. Okay, you can explain that as well. Brother Sharif, please.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Allahumma shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri yahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Inshallah, the Mina camp is, subhanAllah, is very strategic and we don't give it enough. It's really the central of the whole operation. So there is an example of programs. In the red there you see bathrooms. You see that in green you have some, where we have some areas for the ladies and some areas for the men. Of course, this is just an example. That's dynamic. That changes every year, depending upon every year operation. So it's very strategic to do it, and it's never the same. The most important thing, rooming MENA and developing MENA is a constantly evolving dynamic process. The thing that you don't realize is when you go to MENA, it's basically ground zero. So what we have to do is we have to build everything from scratch. So think about construction project within, I'm going to say, 7 to 10 days, and we have to be able to actually develop it, have it up and running, fully operational within 10 days. The staff that actually covers that, we have to give it a great reward, and really they are the supporting behind this operation. So one thing I would like to say is when you see these guys working in MENA, supporting you guys, help them, because they are really instrumental in actually bringing it to where it is, and that's where really it starts. So I really have to say that the bathrooms are ground level. We put all the bathrooms from scratch. We put sheetrock inside the building, inside the actual MENA tents. There's also, depending upon what program you're in, follow the directions of the program managers and your group leaders to be roomed accordingly. And please help in that process, because it's a very, we're dealing with almost 2,000 plus, so it's not an easy logistical process, and it involves everybody to be involved and integrated into this whole process. And it really is the support from the staff and all of you, and especially making dua for us and actually making this to be a success, because we deal with the authorities over there. It's dynamic. We don't know what we're going to face. And we're actually, as you see, camp is in the middle of a very, very busy area across the Jamarat. So, so basically having to be a safe place for everybody to perform the manasik. And you're going to be spending a couple of days there. So that's going to be your home for a couple of days after, you come back from Medina and Mecca. So please help the staff to maintain it. As you go inside these rooms, you'll find, for example, your IDs when you come in. It's going to be right on your beds. So that's going to be, it's going to guide you to where you are. There's going to be some postage outside the rooms with list names. Your name, your pictures will be there. So that will give you all the understanding where you are, where you're located. So remember where you are. So that also sometimes people get lost and they're trying to figure out where you are, understand the camp. Because it's not really difficult. It's a very, very comprehensive camp. And again, this is a challenge. So from a food logistical standpoint, from getting to be able to have your meals every day. So I think the bottom line is be integrated, help out as much as you can to help yourself. So I cannot emphasize that. Your dua is very critical to us, as the entire operation cannot do it with the help of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala first and foremost, and be as part of the I'm going to say the team to go to heaven, inshallah. As there's a lot of uninterrupted things that we could see that's beyond our control. So again, I would like to thank all of you. Make sure that, inshallah, I would like to see all of you over there, and I would like to bring back Brother Azhar, Jazakallah khair. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Subhanallahumma bihamdik, nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. Wa sallallahu ala sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam.
Jazakallah khair, barakallah feek. So, the camp, when we first get it, is gutted. The sinks are taken away. There's no bathroom, toilets. They remove it every year. The drywall's gone. The side walls are rolled up. Right? All you have is the canopy, and all the trash has to be cleaned up. You get possession is given to you at a certain time, and then it's just a rush to set it all up. The outdoor carpet, the drywalls, the whole bit, the servicing of the water cool units, the bathrooms, it all starts from the beginning. And whereas Brother Sharif mentioned, there is actually a CAD drawing of the camp. Depends on, okay, this year, what has changed, let's put into the drawing, let's see how we can fit where, who's going to be where, which program. This is the example that you see here, is that with 1 year we had program for men here, we have program for women on the other side. Red is bathroom, half for men, half for women. This was the executive lounge and program of 6. And this was program 3 or 2. This was program 1. It's not going to be like that this year. It's going to be different. Depends on how many people we have in each of the programs. So this is dynamic, but we have very little time to set it up. Just to give you an idea, the effort that goes into it. So this is an external view. Like, it's very peaceful when you see from Google Earth, from up there. You don't see the buses, you don't see the crowd. This gives you an idea of what it looks like from outside. The camp you can see in the triangle, that's the camp area. And you can see the ramp to the Jamarat. Those cylindrical buildings that you see, 2 of them in front, these are access from and to the Jamarat. These are all escalators and elevators to different levels of Jamarat. We will see more of that. Those cylindrical buildings are simply just that. Way to access the Jamarat or come down from the Jamarat at different levels. The scale of this thing is not as visible in the picture, but if you look very carefully, you can see the size of the buses. That tells you how big this place is. Right? They're like matchsticks in there. So this is the task at hand. And that you see at the very end of this picture, towards the front, you'll see those tunnels. This tunnel is what you see. This tunnel actually goes on the other side of the tunnel are the buildings, Azizia buildings. 1.25 mile. Quite a bit of that is to the tunnel. And then you get to the building. So this is a visual view of Mina. This is a view of Mina from outside our camp, where I'm standing in front, I'm looking forward. What am I seeing? I'm seeing the control tower where they monitor the traffic. I'm seeing the Jamarat building itself. Here's a view of standing outside our camp, looking to the left of the camp. I'm facing the street, just outside the door, looking to the left of the camp. I see one of the buildings that I will use to access the Jamarat, and you'll see Dar es-Salaam signs here. Okay? The thing that you need to know about Mina is that this is the most contested as far as space is concerned, right? In terms of the government, I think you've seen that. You've read it in the ebook, in the information section, if I'm not wrong. I actually mentioned the size of the tent and how many, 154 centimeters per person per se. So that's what the mandated room is given for each person. They actually do that, how much you can get as such for space. Of course, Dar es-Salaam does more than that. We actually give you that space. We actually give you a foam sleeper chair. I'll show you examples of that, blanket and so forth. The bedding is specifically assigned for each person. Lounges for 5 and 6, which also 5 also has a foldable bed. Of course, men and women are in separate side of the tent. So here's an example of what Brother Sharif and his team, when they're done, what it looks like when it was completely gutted. You can see an example of this tent. This is showing you a room number. We assign a room number. In front, there's a big sign that says Program for Men. These are the places for the shoes, the green carpet. None of that exists, by the way. None of the drywalls exist. This is all done within 10 days. Right? As such. This is another view of the tent. Okay, you can see we try to name the streets so you don't get lost. But the thing is, don't go ever outside the camp. The camp is a secure area. If you're lost inside. You don't have to ever go outside in the street per se. Okay, you can see some of the water cool units. This is what they call air conditioning over there. Water cool units with the duct system going inside. Right? This is a view at nighttime. So it's still pretty well lit at nighttime. It's not bad. You can see that we have put drywalls. We've lifted the canvas of the camp, drywall with actual doors as such. Garbage cans. You might see a wheelchair. You might see coolers with water or juice or something in the middle. I wanted to show you this thing. I want to address this issue of air conditioning. It's very, very important for me to address it. If you are sitting in a desert with a canvas canopy, and you turn the AC on, and the temperature outside is 110 degrees, you're not going to bring the temperature inside down to 68. It's not going to happen, especially at noon or 1 o'clock, right? So prepare yourself for it. It's not going to be the air conditioning that you see in a hotel. It won't happen as such, right? So the reason I wanted to show you this is because that's what they mounted up there. And then you can see the ductwork coming in. And in this picture, you can also see how the bedding, the foam sleeper chair, it's actually folded into a chair position. This is what we mean by people are going to be located, and you see behind it is a half wall, another half wall, another half wall. What we do is we don't just close up the tent. We allow the tent let's say these are all men's. Of course, it cannot be women. Women will never be in half wall. They'll be completely separate. The half wall allows for better circulation of air. At the same time, gives you privacy. At the same time, allows you that if the imam stands there and leads the prayer, the entire congregation can join him. Follow me? And you will notice, maybe it's shown here, there's a picture of a fan up there, right? So we actually supplement what is provided by them by actually putting in extra water cool units and extra fan. Despite that, you are sweating at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Despite that, you have corners, portions of camp where it's hotter than other portion of the camp, same tent, okay? Because of the circulation, despite that. So it's not going to be a picnic. I want you to know that. This is the most comfortable you can make in 110 degrees, 115 degrees. Because as you can see here, this canopy, that's open. This part opens up to the air outside. So allow the hot air to escape. That is the level of insulation you're looking at. And the air is blowing inside. How much will it come down and how much will it go up? So it's going to be fairly warm. Just prepare yourself for it, despite the fact that we put on water cool units and fans. Okay? Just bear that in mind. This is an example of checking in. So Brother Sharif, when he's done, each of the program manager takes their team on the 6th of Zulhijjah or 7th of Zulhijjah before you arrive there and walks through and makes sure there's a name tag on every single one of them. We have accounted for a place for everybody, blanket, pillow. This is an example of a foam sleeper chair. Here's an example of a foam sleeper chair. On the left side, is it folded? On the right side, it's unfolded. So it gives you an idea without people as to how congested this is, right? That's what it is. And by the way, if you missed it, and I missed to mention it, that you see on the left side, on the top, that's the luggage rack. Do I have a better picture of a luggage rack? No. That's the luggage rack that you see above, because you don't have room to put your luggage on the floor. Your roll-on bag goes on those luggage racks. You don't have room for the luggage on the ground. Okay? You take with you a backpack, and you take with you a roll-on bag. That's all you take with you, right? And the roll-on bag goes on top. So this is an example of one of the camps. This is an example of one of the designated open buffet areas. So we have open buffet, typical setup, just like in a wedding, just like it was here today. That's how it is set up in an area. This will be for a program 4 or 5 men. There'll be separate one for women. There'll be separate one for program 3. So this is also in addition. This is not part of the location. This is part of Dar Islam services to go to a catering company and tell them, we need you to provide this services. This is on top of the location of the camp itself. And this is an example of a open buffet area. Last year it was for program 3. And you can see the open buffet at nighttime in the back, right? And then some people with some spaces available. These 2 gentlemen that you see sitting here on the stool, these 2 gentlemen are probably sitting on some of those plastic insulated coolers that you take for picnic. They're all over the place. They actually sit on it because it has water in it. It has one has juice in it, so they sit on it to eat, because either that or you take it inside your camp to eat. That's the only eating place you have. You don't have lounge chairs or any of that sort, or shisha or something like that. No, we don't provide that. No? Only one person got the sense? Okay. This is the bathroom. This is the men's bathroom. Of course, this is all the sinks, the way they are located, right? It's up to us to keep it clean. This is an example of a barber service that we provide on the 10th of Zulhijjah. It's brand new blade. They open up the brand new blade from a plastic seal bag before they use it and they discard it. Okay? So it's our job to keep the tents clean. It's our job to make sure that the foam sleeper chair is folded up when we're doing the prayers. Right? It's our job to make sure the bathrooms are kept clean. People actually do. Everybody's nice and calm and quiet on the first day. Then they go to Arafat. And then when come back from Arafat, you think it's party time. And it is not. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala addresses specifically the days of remembrance. And that's why I put that in your ebook. You'll find that ayah of the Quran in your ebook. And remember Allah on those days. So it's not party time. Because you're out of ihram, you're done, you think you're done. This is where people would do things like shave their head on the sink and clog it. You think the next guy wants to use it? I can't wait for the line up. Go back to your tent till the line is less. This is where you see people, men would actually, discard their ihram in the bathroom stall and just drop it there, and it gets all soggy and wet, and somebody else has to come and take it away. So we will never do this to our washrooms, but we will do it over there. Right? This is the part you have to worry about. The Mina bathrooms are used for what? 4 days, 5 days a year? That's the only duration, and then it's absolutely dismantled. Arafat bathroom is for 1 day a year. So it is in a decent condition, but not necessarily the condition that you would expect, basically. And it comes with it. Right? This is where I say get the opportunity to rest, and please don't get into idle talk. Make a goal for yourself, as remembering Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You may start that goal from here. Start reciting the Quran with the goal that on the day of Arafat is when you complete the Quran. Or start reciting the Quran from the day you depart with the goal that before you end your Hajj, you would have completed the Quran. Something to keep you busy rather than, okay, nothing else to do, so let's think what we can do and how we can throw those pebbles at somebody, right? So just remember that you have to remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in those days. Read the ebook, read the hadith and the Quranic references. They were picked specifically for Hajj. Okay? It's important. Departing for Arafat from Mina, Al-Mashayir train. You've heard of that? Okay. It's a train system that runs for 2 days. 2 days. In the morning, it takes you to Arafat. In the evening, it brings you to Muzdalifah. The next morning, it brings you back to Mina and shuts down for the entire year. A lot of money was spent into it. A lot of real estate was taken away from Mina camps to build the tracks. So you're mandated to use it if you're in one of those train stations. You don't have a choice. We're mandated to use it because we are located in one of the train stations, right? It comes with its own challenges. Generally speaking, 3 substations. In each of Mina, Muzdalifah, and Arafat are 3 stations. And they are named after the location. So our camp is going to be Mina station number 3, the last one. Then there is station number 2, right? We're given a specific time to ride the train. It's not the time we want. They will say this camp needs to be leaving for Arafat at 4 o'clock in the morning. And then you'll have somebody argue with you, but that's before Fajr. Yes, it's before Fajr. That's what the time given to us. So we go. We actually go at the allotted time. No bus services, and we depart together. I'll share with you some pictures. So this is the train track, right? Jamarat and Mina camp. And you can see station number 3, 2 and 1, Muzdalifah 3, 2 and 1, and then Arafat 3, 2 and 1. That's the extent of the train system. Visually, if you're looking at a map, this is our camp. These are the 3 Jamarat. And this is the path we go. Walk from the camp 100 meters, take that one of the cylindrical building, go up to the top, walk all the way to the train station, which is on the other side of the valley. Okay? We're on one side of the mountain, train station on the other side of the mountain. It's about 30 minutes walk. Here's an example of people gathering outside. You can see Dar es-Salaam signs, people with Dar es-Salaam signs. You will depart with your group. Your group leader will be with you. You will know when to depart. These are the people in one of those cylindrical buildings taking the escalators, going up several levels to the very top, because that's where you get to the train station. Jamarat is 4 levels, but to get to the train station, you have to go to the very top level. This is actually at the top level. You can see some of the group leaders and Dar es-Salaam signs. People who need help, those golf carts provided by the government of Saudi Arabia is not available right by the camp. You still have to walk up those cylindrical buildings further in at the top of the ramp before these are available to take you to the train station. Okay? And this is people lining up, very peaceful. This is a misleading picture. Repeat it. This is a misleading picture. This is a picture taken from people leaving from Mina to Arafat. If I showed you the picture from Arafat to Muzdalifah, you will not like it. So I did not show it. This is the way they have set up the platform. You'll see the doors in front where the train comes, right? And you'll see doors behind. The idea here is to bring in sufficient number of people in the platform and close the doors behind. So there's no pushing and shoving, but that doesn't stop from pushing and shoving, okay? There's an example of people on the train, fairly new train, fairly good condition, right? And so we'll depart with the group, be ready. A lot of people are so anxious, they all go to the front gate. Nobody can move. Because we don't go by who is in the front gate, we go by take your program. Group leader X, take your program. Program manager Y, take your program now. And there'll be specific areas to get out from. And basically, if you're going to go to Muzdalifah and stay overnight, you don't take the bedding from Mina. You take with you a lightweight sleeping bag with you. And I'll cover that later on, right? So why you do that? And you have to take the train at a lot of times. Now what happens to your luggage? Remember we picked up your check luggage, right? You have a carry-on with about 4 days worth, 3 days worth of clothes. Women require more clothes, by the way. And that's fine, because, they're in their tent, they're not outside, so they will be wearing clothes. So just imagine that you'll require more of the clothing with you, but the carry-on that you have, roll-on bag, the same size you take in the aircraft should be sufficient. You have your toiletries with you, you have your towel with you, right? And then you will also have a backpack that Dar Islam will give you. If you have given us your valuables to safekeep before you came to Mina, that's with us. So you come into Mina on the 8th of Zulhijjah, and when you're going to Arafat, you don't need your roll-on, because you're going in Ihram, you're coming back in Ihram. So what you do is you take your backpack on, you leave your roll-on, we will instruct you where to leave it, but generally speaking, it'll be in the tent, because there's always going to be security around it, and there's no valuables anyway, right? So you take your backpack, which has what? Your Quran, your prayer mat, your medicine, maybe your iPad if you're taking one, right? And that's all you have, very lightweight. And you're going to walk with that backpack to Arafat. If you are going to stay overnight in Muzdalifah, maybe you have a sleeping bag with the 1.5, 2 pounds of filling with you. And so you leave your roll-on behind. That's how you're going to go. And so this is a jogging reminder. When you get to Arafat, it becomes the main day. A lot of people get too excited about Arafat, and they should be. But their excitement results in the fact that they are staying up. If you left Mina at 3 o'clock in the morning, you came to Arafat, you prayed Fajr, and you're not wanting to sleep, don't do that. Get your rest in the morning, because the main time for Arafat is the afternoon. Don't be the ones who've fallen asleep in the afternoon, right? You'll have time. There will be designated tents. Here we're going to have women in this program with the sheikh leading them in prayers, and we'll have the khutbah of Arafat. Here will be the men for this program with the sheikh leading the khutbah of Arafat. So you'll be in that area, and then you will actually make your wudu and prepare yourself for Dhuhr and Asr, and then you'll have the khutbah of Arafat, and after that you will actually have time for individual supplications and dua. And then there will be group supplications later on, about 4 o'clock or so. We'll go outside and an imam will lead people in jama'ah. This is the Hajj. This is the reason why you are there. This is the day where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saves more people from the fire of hell than any other day of the year. More people are forgiven on this day than an entire year. This is true. And you want to be part of that. You want to be alert. You want to cry out to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There is nothing wrong with grown men crying with tears streaming down their cheeks. There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing you should be ashamed of. If you have some cultural hiccup or traditional hiccup because we came from North America, you should let go of that. Your confession is to your Lord. So confess to your Lord. This is the time you have given. And remember that this is a special favor of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala upon us, specifically on this day. Right? Remind yourself that you have just been risen from the dead in these 2 pieces of garment and you're pleading your case. Or ask yourself this: for all the sins that I've committed, I've been given 4 hours to plead my case. How would you plead in 4 hours? What would you say? The first thing you have to do is acknowledge the fact that you have made mistakes, you have committed sins. Recall those sins and cry out the fact that you have made those sins. Right? You have to really, really pour yourself in all sincerity. You can have the imams lead the prayers, you can stand there and say, Ameen, Ameen, Ameen. That's fine. Until you individually connect, you have not connected. And it's very important for you to do that. Find a place, find a corner, wherever it is, find some time in that afternoon and stand and pour your heart out before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's very important for you to do that. That's the main reason you're going, not the hotels. You can make up for some of the rights that you miss, but you cannot make up if you miss Arafat. Very simple. It's a very special day. It's a very unique gift. It's a very special place. So think more as you visualize in this journey. Think about, what will I do in Arafat? How would I stand before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? What will I say to Him? What will I ask Him? It's very important to actually visualize those things. Right? Prepare yourself for it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is most generous. As the hadith says, that He comes down from the 7 heavens down to the first heaven, and He sees all these people gathered, and He says to the angels, why are they here? And then He makes the angels witness that He has forgiven them. When the Prophet ﷺ was asked this question in Hajjatul Wada, that when he said that I was informed that all those who are present are forgiven, one of the companions says, is that just for us? Or is that for people who come for Hajj? He said, no, it is for people who come for Hajj. That's you and me. So you want to be part of that. There is no day of the year where shaitan is more humiliated in the entire year than on the day of Arafat. If you don't go for Hajj and you live back in North America, what do you do on that day? Anybody? Fast. Why do you fast? Because you want to be with them. So that's a very special day, the day of Arafat. It's not just one of the days of the 5 days of Hajj. It is the day, it is the reason why you're going there. You have to think about what you want to ask Him. Right? A lot of people think about what they want to ask Him, and I want you to ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, pour your heart out, but don't restrict yourself, don't limit yourself to this dunya. Don't limit yourself to this dunya. I don't know when I'll die, but I know I will die. I don't know where I will die, but I do know that I will die. So one of the du'as that I make to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, don't take my soul unless I'm in complete submission to you. Don't take my soul until I'm in complete submission to you. I cannot say when or where I'll die, but I can certainly ask Him the condition I'm in when He takes me. Can I not? I'm not asking for death, but I'm asking for those conditions. The one who honors you in this dunya is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The one who will honor you in the akhirah is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So ask Him, honor me. When I die, honor me. When I'm in my grave, honor me. When you raise me up, include me among your honorable slaves. Ask Him. Because the best dua you can make on the day, as mentioned in the hadith, is not the talbiyah. Is what the Prophet ﷺ and the prophets before him said is what? La ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lah lahul mulku wa lahul hamd wa huwa ala kulli shayin qadir. Examine this and the depth of it, what you're saying about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and how you can relate to Him. So that will cause you to understand how to ask Him. Ask for your family, ask for your children, ask for the ummah in general. He has no limit as to what He can grant you. None whatsoever. But He's looking to you and to your heart as to how you actually stand before Him. He has given you the opportunity, go ask me, stand before me. And you go all the way there, but you're not prepared. You're not prepared. It requires some thinking. It requires some serious preparation. Why am I going there? What am I going to ask Him? As such. So it's important for you to visualize that day and build yourself up. Build your passion up until you go on that day. It's important, for example. So that's what I mean to say. A lot of people get caught up in, I like to go to Jabal al-Rahma. You don't have to go to Jabal al-Rahma. Don't go outside the gate. You know, you're going to get caught up in these logistics. Spend your time wisely. We will leave after Maghrib. Sometimes we line up and prepare to leave Arafat before Maghrib because logistics says we must do so, but we never ever leave Arafat before Maghrib. We might prep for it, but we'll not leave before Maghrib. We will stay till Maghrib time. But you make sure you stick with your group. It becomes pretty helter-skelter. I'm going to show you some pictures. You stay, you're hydrated in hot weather. This is where people don't look after themselves. This is one of the main tents we had last year where Sheikh Muhammad Salah, I believe, people gathering. This is before the prayers began. This is him, I think it is after the Salah giving khutbah. Look, just imagine for a moment. Just look at that picture or look at this picture and imagine for the moment I'm coming out of my grave with my coffin. Waiting for what? the judgment from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Can I not anticipate something positive from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Well, then ask for it. You're there. You're simulating that. You're practicing that. These are the ways you can think about that day and how you can inspire yourself to actually do that. This is the men's program 4 tent last year. Depends on where we're located this year. We don't know what the location is going to be. This is an example of that, right? I've actually seen people sleeping through the afternoon. That's why I'm mentioning it. I've seen people so excited in the morning, they're getting everybody riled up to say the talbiyah, everybody's, just let them rest. And in the afternoon, they themselves are gone, right? So, you have to be careful. This is people leaving. You can see they're preparing to leave, Maghrib time. You can see how the narrow hallways are getting crowded. This is people walking outside of Arafat from the camp to the train station. You're still within the boundaries of Arafat. And this is a picture that tells you that sun has gone down, it has become dark, and we're still stuck outside the train station. You want the honest truth? That's what happens. Because people near and around the train stations are all given a specific time to go to the train station, but nobody listens. They all want to go there after Maghrib. So you're lined up there. How long? Hour and a half, even longer. Just waiting. Your turn to get up. Slowly you move up. Train comes, leaves, then you slowly move up. Right? This is an example of that. So long lines. Expect that. May not be in Mina. The first picture was misleading. That was very nice. In Mina to Arafat. That was the advertising section. But once you bought the product, then we showed you the reality, right? Why not? North America, right? So, specifically in Arafat and Muzdalifah, you'll be standing for a while before you board the train. Remain hydrated. This is where you use your, oral hydration salts. This is where you actually, before you depart, that backpack you have, put some 8 or 9, these small bottles of water. Put them in there, right? Oral hydration salts, take them with you because you'll need them, right? When you go to the platform, sometimes what happens is that, there's enough people in front of this door, so you're told to go somewhere else. There are minders that will tell you that. So you're dispersed from your group. Because some people will say, well, I don't know, my group leader went somewhere else. Well, he had no choice. You can't keep the group intact in that long platform. So when you are dispersed, you ride the train, you know your destination is going to be Muzdalifah station number 3. When you get there, you will see that Islam sign. Just follow the person to take you to the Muzdalifah camp. It is very chaotic. But don't lose your cool. You are there because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants you to be there. If He wants to test you, no matter what arrangement we make, you will not avoid that. If He wants to make it easy for you, you say Alhamdulillah no matter what. You don't say Alhamdulillah in your lips and in your heart you hold something back. You don't do that. Then He will make things easy for you. So put your trust in Him, not in words, but in reality. And this is the moment where you actually get to see whether you have your trust in Him or not. Right? Muzdalifah, an example of people getting off the train station in Muzdalifah. Right? Crowded. Somewhere up front is the green sign, Dar Islam sign. There's a guy standing there, one of the Dar Islam worker bees that are over there, standing there with the sign, telling you, you see the sign? Come this way. Then you have somebody else carrying the sign. It's crowded. You have no sense of where you're going. You've never been there before. You just have to go. Just follow. Stick together as close as possible. And this is outside the train station. And I wanted to show you this picture only for one reason. This is the cleanest picture that I wanted to show you. The other picture I didn't want to show you. Okay? And this shows you, this is I think where the people have stood there and prayed Maghrib and Isha. You can see the men in front, you can see the women behind. But look at the background. That is Muzdalifah. It's open, free for all. I think you can see, you can see on the left side, you can see the bathroom. You can see the lineup behind the bathroom. Right? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, فَإِذَا أَفَدْتُم مِّنْ عَرَفَاتٍ. And when you come down from Arafat, where do you go? Mash'ar al-Haram. فَاذْكُرُوهُ كَمَا هَدَاكُمْ. Remember Him that He guided you. It's not the time to panic. It's the time that I have simulated the day of judgment and poured my heart out. How can I show my gratitude to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He's allowed me this opportunity? I'm clean. It's not the time to start accumulating again. So this is why you're tested. It's a free-for-all. It's not a 5-star hotel. It's a million stars above you. Right? No tents, open space. Now what we did last year was different, and we're planning to do it again this year. Instead of an open space like that, we actually had a fenced area right by the train station. We paid for it, that had us and 2 or 3 other North American travel agents in there, which was better. At least the bathroom was not as openly public as the normal public bathroom that's available to anybody. We're planning to do the same thing, but it was not the greatest of conditions. You found yourself a place to lay down, you just put your sleeping bag down, you laid down. That's the way it was. There is no line. There's no, this guy is sleeping this way, this guy is sleeping that way. And we are our own worst enemy. You can't separate the men from the women. Well, can I have the sister to move over this? No, my wife's going to stay with me. And so now all of a sudden, nobody else wants to be right next to this woman because she's with her husband and you need to. So we create the problem for ourselves. You can see that you're also simulating the day of judgment when you're going to worry about your own self. A little bit of that is also shown in there. Right? Just be mindful. Don't leave the area. Oh, I'm going to get there by myself. If there is a place to get lost, it is this place. But as long as you have a Dar es Salaam ID with you, you'll be found. It might take a few hours, but you'll be found, inshallah. Don't worry about that. Right? When you're departing Muzdalifah, there'll be 2 departures. Pardon me? Yeah. There'll be 2 departures. Right? So the wajib is that you stay the entire night till Fajr, except for those who have been excused. And who are excused? Who are in that category? I want to give somebody something big now this time, not just, Okay. Sick, elderly, women. Actually, it's elderly men or women. Sick. Who else? Kids, children, good. Weak. Women, weak, sick, elderly. Who else? One more category. Handicap, yes, part of that, being sick, yeah. What was that? All kinds of them. All women are excused from it if they wish to not stay there. The last category is a difficult one. It's for those who are serving the Hujjaj. They're also excused. So if I'm serving you, I don't have to stay the entire night as long as I'm accompanying you to Mina as part of the service. Follow me? You got, where is it? Ahmed, where did he go? Okay. So we will decide. You'll see some people say at 1 o'clock, 1:30 in the morning, brothers, Dar es Salaam, we're leaving now. Those who want to leave in the middle of the night, let's go. What you should not do is, my wife wants to go, but I'm staying. We can't do that. If your wife is leaving and you're the mehram, guess what? You fall into the category of being excused. You have to go with her. It doesn't mean that you blackmail her to stay. That doesn't allow either. So you can make those decisions. When you come back, you'll come back to the same train station, and the path back to your camp generally is through the Jamarat. They force that one way. And you have your 7 pebbles with you, and the sun has risen. Guess what? You go throw in Jamratul Aqaba before you go to the camp. At least one of the ritual on that day is done. Okay? Don't worry about it. We'll give you a map. And this is available on the thing, right? So basically it's a tricky thing to do as to how you get down. You know, you take one of these cylindrical buildings to go down. But generally speaking, last year this building was closed. They forced us to go this way. And all of a sudden our maps didn't work. But remember, pardon me? I know. So what I'm showing here is that the arrow that's going through the cylindrical building, right, pointing to how the path that you take, sometimes that building is closed. They'll force you to go somewhere else. Here is how you look at it. When you're walking, it's a one-way restricted. From the small Jamarat to the large Jamarat, our camp is on the right side. Follow me? Our camp is walking this way, our camp is on the right side. So if they don't allow you to go through the building that I'm showing here with the red arrow, it's any one of these others, you got to know where your camp is. We'll give you a map anyway. Right?
There you go.
It is on.
So again, the smartphone obviously has multiple benefits, right? One obviously is communication with your group leader through WhatsApp. Second is obviously GPS coordinates, right? And this is the most important part. I've seen so many times and I've heard so many times, we're having a conversation with someone who basically just arrived from Muzdalifah and got lost. And again, remember, let's go back here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cylinder buildings that you can come out from. And if you come out from the left side, you get out, and what's going to happen is you're going to call and you're going to say, Brother Ahmed, I'm in front of Al-Baik and I can't see the camp, right? So apparently there's 3 Al-Baiks, by the way, in Arafah and Mina, in that area. So disregard Al-Baik. Just follow the GPS of the camp. It's very important. Alhamdulillah, we're very fortunate to have a very close location in terms of proximity of the camp in the Jamarat. So if you're ever lost in Mina completely, first thing you say is, I need to get to the Jamarat. And once you get there, you can definitely figure out where you go. But smartphone, again, is very important. And therefore, if you have to have a smartphone, you obviously want to protect yourself with a power bank, right? Because of the battery. So everything comes hand in hand.
Thank you, sir. I want to show you a picture of it. So when I'm coming off the train station, what do I see in this picture? I see the canopies. These canopies that you see, the white ones, these are the Jamarat. So it forces you to go around and through the Jamarat. And when I'm throwing the stone at the last Jamarat, when I'm throwing that one, then I know my camp is on the right side. And so when I'm done, it goes to the right. Now whether I get to exit from the rightmost cylindrical tower or the left one, doesn't matter. I know where my camp is located, roughly speaking. If I go straight out from the last Jamarat, I do come across an Al-Baik. But that's not the Al-Baik we're referring to. We're referring to the one that is on the right side of the Jamarat. Call us, you have your phone, message your group leader. Last thing I want you to do is panic. What normally happens when people actually panic when in a situation like this is because they're actually very exhausted. They just want to get back. That's what it is. So just a test. This view is helpful, right? Do we have the gentleman here? Is he here? The gentleman is here? Okay. So I'm going to take a break after this. Okay. You want me to finish the itinerary, take a break, or break now? Okay, thanks. Let me quickly go through. So next day, you're going to go through the Jamarat, right? Now people are going to ask me, well, there was a stampede last year. The stampede was not exactly at the Jamarat. It was on the streets leading to the Jamarat on the right side. We were not in that position because we are right on the main road, King Fahd Road, and then up the cylindrical building and back down. But if you look at the Jamarat picture, for example, the map, you see all these roads at the bottom right side, these streets, these ramps. There are all these mini roads here. They actually designate the roads as one way to go and one way to come back. The accumulation of people at the Jamarat so you can have a flow of 200,000 per hour is carefully planned that you can allow them to come in from different parts, concentrate in one area, that's your 200,000, but when they're leaving, they should not leave from the same path, right? So there was a mishap last year where the incoming and ongoing were in the same streets, but they were out on this side and not where we are, which is a main road, main artery road, for example. So, but it is crowded at the Jamarat itself, which is why we caution, just say, don't disappear, talk to us. We'll tell you when is the time not to go and when is the time to go. And generally we organize trips. Women can even go. I can take you at a time where you can go right in front of it and throw the stones with tears in your eyes, thinking of what Ibrahim a.s. did, as opposed to let's get rid of the stones before I get killed. Right? So I don't want you to do that. Right? No helmet necessary. So generally speaking, now I'm in my camp. Next day I have to go through the stones. Very simple, the same path. The same path I took to go to the train station, one of the cylindrical buildings, by the camp, up the ramp, throw the stones, come back down. Right? You'll get the hang of it, right? Inshallah. Again, this is a pictorial view of that tricky lane. If you look carefully, the camp is triangular, and when you come down from the cylindrical buildings that you see in the picture, and you're coming this way, there is a road where the buses are, which is the King Fahd Road, and there is a very narrow street. The path to the camp is that narrow street, not the road. The road is elevated. As you're coming from the ramp, you're walking down, you'll see the road elevated and another street going underneath the road. And as you're going towards the street underneath the road, this lane on the right opens up. Okay? All that is in written instruction and a map that will be given to you with the final package, inshallah. So if you end up going, yes, I know that. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. If you end up going underneath the road here and miss this lane, you go here, you'll actually be showing up in the back side, which is called the alternate route, still get you to the camp. Don't worry about it. That's all I'll say. Now, Tawaf al-Ifada, of course, Program 6 have their hotels in Mecca. They go back to their hotels, so they can make Tawaf al-Ifada anytime. But the other programs, we have a schedule developed that says when you will leave. So we will take you from there, from Mina, you'll go to the Haram, make Tawaf al-Ifada and come back. But depending on what that time is and depending on the crowd, sometimes it's difficult. Buses sometimes don't come inside in front of the camp. So you may have to walk that 1.25 mile to board the bus. And sometimes when you're coming back, then it is also crowded because everybody else is performing it. But we know enough to be able to direct you what time not to go, right? So it all is subject to road and traffic conditions. I can't predict what it'll be like. Okay? I've covered Program 6. Now we talked about the time that you go to the Haram. Either if you are staying in Azizia or if you are in Mina, the pickup and drop off is Al-Shuhada Hotel. We've talked about Al-Shuhada Hotel. Al-Shuhada Hotel is located approximately 400 meters away. This is for when you're going for making Tawaf al-Ifada. This is if you're in Azizia going for Salah, right? This is for when you are in Mina. Program 4 and 5 will bring you out to make Tawaf al-Wada. All of them are going to go to Al-Shuhada Hotel. That's your place to be dropped off. You do your Tawaf, you do your Sa'i, you come back, and you'll bring you back. Take you back to either Mina or take you to Jeddah at the end of Hajj. All of that is from Al-Shuhada Hotel. And so Al-Shuhada Hotel is approximately 450 meters, and it's on Ajiyad Street, straight down King Abdulaziz Gate. So this is your clock tower. You can see the clock tower in front, same picture. And you can see the yellow line that is taking you on Ajiyad Street is 450 meters. Why did we keep it this far? Because it's very difficult for the bus to pick you up from Aziziyah or Mina and bring you anywhere closer. All the roads are blocked. So I can at least approach Al-Shuhada from the back and drop you off there. I need the roads open. I don't want to be in a position where the roads are shut down completely. Okay? So you'll drop your things in Al-Shuhada Hotel, go do your tawaf and come back. Okay. At the end of Hajj, program 1A and 1B, simple. On the 13th of Zulhijjah, after Jamrat, you're going back to Aziziyah. And then depending on when you're flying, we'll take you from Aziziyah to do Tawaf al-Wada. Al-Shuhada Hotel is your drop-off pickup point, and then bring you back to Aziziyah, and then you leave from there to Jeddah. Okay? Now, don't forget, if you deposited valuables, you pick them up from Aziziyah. Program 2A and 2B, staying till Mina until the 13th of Zulhijjah, and we'll go to Aziziyah. We're not making Tawaf al-Wada. On the 14th of Zulhijjah, probably late afternoon, early evening, because it's also a Friday, right? Still dynamic, we're working on that. You will actually go and check into your hotel, and 5-6 days later, you'll make Tawaf al-Wada before you head out. But you're picking up your valuables from Aziziyah, not the hotel in Mecca. Program 3A, B, and 1C, you're going to Medina after Hajj. So you're going to go on the 12th of Zulhijjah, you will leave after Rami Jamarat to go to Al-Shuhada Hotel. You make Tawaf al-Wada, and then you'll depart for Medina after Tawaf al-Wada, and you will pick up your valuables in Mecca, in Al-Shuhada Hotel before you depart. Program 4A, 4B, and 5, your Hajj is done. You have to spend the time in Jeddah, 1 night or 2 nights. You'll go on the 13th of Zulhijjah to Al-Shuhada Hotel, make your farewell Tawaf, then get on the bus to go to your Jeddah Hotel. Pick up your valuables from Al Shahuda Hotel, not Jeddah Hotel, right? And 6A and 6B, you can leave directly from your hotels to Tawaf al-Wada is based on your departure because you have your hotel room with you since you came from Medina, and your valuables is not the issue. But there are some in 6A, they may actually leave on the 14th of Zulhijjah because the occupancy ends and may have to spend one night in Jeddah Hotel before they depart because the departure is a bit delayed. Okay, so I'm going to take a break here. And just to let you know, the next two things to discuss is the checklist of items to take, and then do's and don'ts. We'll open up for questions and answers, but we do have someone here?
Correct.
Yeah.
We have, inshallah, brothers Rafiq and Shafiq Munir, who are, I believe, Brother Rafiq is an immigration and customs officer, and Brother Shafiq is a customs and border protection officer as well. Jazakallah khair for coming out. They graciously volunteered their time to actually give us some presentation about, travel plans and their recommendations. And inshallah, right after the break, bismillah.
So let's take a 10-minute bio break. We have some dessert on the right side for the men.
Ice cream.
Is ice cream not a dessert?
We got ice cream.
Somebody got Jamarat stones here?
So we'll be back at 4:35, inshallah.
Inshallah.
4:35. For those online, inshallah, we'll be back in 10 minutes. 4:35, bidnillah. Thank you. Yes.
Assalamu alaikum. Can we please come and have a seat? I want to begin because we're running over anyway. Thank you. Jazakallah khair. It gives me pleasure to invite brothers Rafiq and Shafiq Munir. Brother Rafiq is an immigration and customs officer, and Brother Shafiq is a customs and border protection officer. And they will provide you with tips pertaining to customs, immigrations, and perhaps even TSA, correct? Yeah, inshallah. So I know this was not planned agenda item, but I'm pretty sure you will benefit from this as we leave this country and come back as to what is allowed, not allowed, what to watch out for. So without any further delay, I would like to ask Brother Rafiq and Shafiq to please come up. I don't know whether you're going to stand over there or here, or both of you one by one. Okay, please. You have the presentation, right? So this is the clicker?
Okay, it's up there?
Yeah, both places. Right?
Okay.
And it's also online.
No
So you can address the people online
Okay,
as well.
This is the clicker to
Yeah,
go forward?
to forward, yeah.
Okay.
And this is the pointer, but when you're using the laser pointer, the guys online can't see it.
Okay.
So just
How do
just
you
use the
point it
clicker.
just in case?
You just see this pointer right there.
Okay, I see.
Just press this.
Is
red-
there are times
red-
that I would rather like go down there and show
press-
people?
Well, you can't go down there because the mic will be away from the microphone.
Yeah, that's true. I saw that.
It's a challenge that I was able to conquer. Let's see how you do.
It's our time to conquer. All right, are you ready? Assalamu alaikum. How are you, brothers and sisters? My name is Rafiq Munir, and I like to tell you that both my brother Shafiq Munir and I, we both work for the Department of Homeland Security, and in different capacities. Now, the agency I work for is Immigration and Customs Enforcement, and brother Shafiq, I work for U.S. Customs and Border.
Yes, no. My name is Shafiq Munir. I work for U.S. Customs and Border Protection. I work out of JFK International Airport.
I want to thank everyone here for allowing us to come here and speak before you. It is our honor, and we're here simply because we want to help all you brothers and sisters prepare for the ultimate pilgrimage. Now, we all know that's one of the 5 pillars, and it's a very important one. Not everyone is able to go, but I'm so glad to be in a room where I know a lot of people are going to have that opportunity to go there, perform their pilgrimage, make any number of du'as, and hopefully Allah will hear it and He will acknowledge it. So today we're going to help you guys prepare by letting you know what to expect as you come to an airport. And this is from the time you pull up to the curb all the way to the time you reach that gate. And we're going to do whatever we can to give you the information, to give you the knowledge, to prepare you for your trip. Now we ask that you take that advice seriously and apply it to your life as you travel moving forward. It doesn't matter whether it's a domestic flight or an international flight. So let me begin by showing you my presentation, which I did lay out so that it's something we could all follow along with. I just ask that you guys leave any questions you have to the end of the presentation. There will be a Q&A session, and we will try to answer all your questions. So to begin, let me ask you guys a question, and with the show of your hands, can anyone tell me, have they ever traveled using an airplane before? I know I have. So I'm sure a lot of you guys, brothers and sisters, know sort of what to expect. But we're going to try to help you guys streamline it. We're going to give you guidance so that the next time you go to an airport, hopefully it'll be a lot smoother for you. So to begin, just follow us with this presentation we've laid out for you guys. Oh, it's going to be hard to read it. Is this mic something I can take? Is it portable? Yeah, can I? I want to actually be there.
It's not on here.
It's not on here. Can we put it on here?
Oh, the light in the look. Just do it like that, it's fine.
It's still hard to see it. Perfect. Yeah, thank you, brother. Just give us a moment, guys. Shaq, you want to do the clip? It's behind us too. Can everyone see the screens? Are we ready to begin? All right, so let me give you guys an overview. The agency you guys are going to come across when you're traveling to Saudi Arabia or any international destination is called Transportation Security Administration, for short TSA. And I'd like to read what I've presented here. TSA is an agency of the U.S. Department of Homeland Security that has authority over the security of the traveling public in the United States. They are the uniform presence you see at all airports. And the people you actually see in the uniform, they're called transportation security officers. And they use what's considered a risk-based security measure to identify, mitigate, and resolve potential threats at the airport security checkpoint. TSOs may ask you questions about your travel, but we want to get you guys to feel comfortable whenever you come to a security checkpoint. There's no need to worry. No one is there to judge you. You may encounter good officers. You may encounter a bad officer. But that doesn't mean that you should change yourself. You don't have to change what you believe in because someone else doesn't believe in it. We want to make sure that when you're at that checkpoint, you kind of know what to expect. As long as you abide the rules of the Transportation Security Administration, you will have a smooth process getting through that checkpoint. Their goal is to make sure that you and everyone else that's traveling gets from the curb to the gate as safely and as securely as possible. It's about your safety and everybody else's safety. Can I? Oh, please. Yeah, that would help. Perfect. All right, guys, follow along. So the Transportation Security Administration may use a variety of screening processes, including random screening, regardless of whether an alarm is triggered. So let's pay attention to that. The screening process includes random screening. And at this day and age, anything can be randomized. I could be going to an airport and I could be selected for enhanced screening. That's perfectly fine. They might have seen something. It might have been my behavior that triggered it, not the way I look, not the color of my skin, but something caused an alarm, and they want to probably ask me questions. They probably would ask you questions. But if they're asking you a question, you give them an answer, and you give them the right answer, so that when they do put you through that enhanced screening, it's easier. So what if you have to get a full body pat down? It's perfectly fine. Like I said, they're not going to judge you based on how you look, what you're wearing, how you smell, etc., and so forth. TSA uses unpredictable security measures throughout the airport. And no individual is guaranteed expedited screening. For all you brothers and sisters who have traveled in the past, you may have signed up for a TSA pre-check. That's a good benefit to have, but nothing, because it's randomized, is guaranteed that you're going to have expedited screening. Transportation Security Administration recommends up to 2 hours if you're traveling domestically, and at least 3 hours if you're traveling internationally. And I don't think nothing in my entire presentation is more important than that. A lot of us, we get caught up because we pull up to the curb when we know our flight is getting ready to take off. And then we start blaming everybody else for it. And we want to just get to that gate no matter what, because we paid a lot of money to get on that flight. I and my brother, we've worked as transportation security officers in the past. And let me tell you this, the most successful passengers are the ones that get there on time. Because it's randomized, you don't know what you're going to come across. You can't predict what the passenger in front of you has on him or does not have on him. So in order for you to get onto that flight, I recommend that you get there at least 3 hours in advance, especially if it's international traveling. 5 minutes is what we got. Okay, I want to just point out a program that the airport has. It's called Secure Flight. It's a risk-based passenger pre-screening program that enhances security by identifying low and high-risk passengers before they arrive at the airport by matching their names against trusted traveler lists and watch lists. Now, my name is Rafiq Munir. There may be someone by the name of Rafiq Munir that's on a watch list. It doesn't mean that's me, and it doesn't mean it's anybody in this room. But I don't want us to be sensitive to that. I want us to be okay with that. If you come to an airport and your name is on that list, or a name like yours is on that list, it's perfectly fine. They're going to ask you additional questions. They might give you an enhanced screening, but that's perfectly okay. Their job is to get you on that plane as safely as possible. All right, I'm going to point out a machine to you guys. All you guys that have traveled in the past, has anyone seen this machine before? So this is called an advanced imaging technology. I got this picture up here for you so I could show you guys, basically walk along with you guys as to what to expect. There's always an officer of two genders. There's a male and there's always a female there. And it's that way because if a sister comes in, a female officer is going to assist her. If a male or if a brother comes in, a male officer is going to help her. As far as asking questions, either gender can ask you questions. But if someone has to physically touch you, it's going to be gender specific. So male for male, female for female. So when you enter that machine, there are footprints on the floor. And an officer is going to tell you how to stand in there. You stand in there correctly, you won't have a problem getting through that machine. You go in there, you put your feet on that prints, you put your arms over your head, just like this, if you can. And the thing they'll tell you to do, and you'll hear an officer from the time you enter that checkpoint, they'll keep telling you, to the point you get tired of hearing it, please make sure there's nothing inside your pockets. And they don't want anything in your pocket because this machine is so sensitive. If you have a cloth in your pocket, it will pick it up. And hopefully you get through that machine with nothing inside of you, just like you saw in the previous slide. There's going to be a green box, and that's all the officer can see. They see if you have something, and then they see if you're okay. If you're okay, they're going to say continue. And that's what it's going to look like. Okay, bro. All right, as far as safety, I got this up here so I can show you guys from my own experience, because as an officer, a lot of people had asked me, is this machine safe? Now I'm going to read to you this advisement, which is at every airport right next to the machine. Millimeter wave technology emits thousands of times less energy than a cell phone transmission. So when a passenger used to ask me, and a lot of times I would get female passengers that were pregnant, and before they enter that machine, they would ask me, is this safe? I always tell them it's safe, and then I tell them this machine is a lot safer than making one phone call on your cell phone. But it's up to you if you want to go through it or not. And I want you, brothers and sisters, to know when you go to an airport, you have options. If you are not safe, or if you feel you don't want to go through this machine because you're not comfortable, just tell the officer, say, I don't want to go through this. What they're going to say is, they're going to pat you down. If you feel that that's safer for you, then go with the pat down. Okay. You can stay here. All right, so here's a little brief overview of the pat down. If you cannot or choose not to be screened by advanced imaging technology or a walk-through metal detector, you will undergo a pat-down procedure instead. You may also undergo a pat-down procedure if you alarm the screening equipment and or at random. So two very important things here. If you alarm, you're going to get pat down. So when you come through that AIT for short and you put your arms up, and if you have something in your pocket, like my pockets are full, they will see that. What the machine does, the technology does, is it specifies where that alarm is. So an officer will not check you here if the alarm is over here. They're going to check you here because that's where the alarm is. And that's what they want to clear. So I want you guys to know that when you're in that machine, there's no one telling the machine what to do. The machine is automated. It searches you from head to toe. And if there is an alarm, it is that officer's job to clear it. And once that is cleared, you're able to continue on to the gate. Another important part, TSA screens approximately 1.1 million checked bags for explosives and other dangerous items daily. So upon check-in, your checked baggage will be provided to TSA for security screening. Once the screening process has completed, your airline will transport your checked baggage on your respective flights, as well as deliver it to the baggage claim area. The majority of checked baggage is screened without the need for a physical bag check. It all goes down to rules. TSA or any agency has their rules on their website. I have the links in this presentation for anyone interested. Follow those rules just like any other rule in life, and you will be successful. So now you're at the checkpoint, and it's your turn. You put your bag, the carry-on the belt. Signs like this you're going to see. Officers, you're going to hear them, and they're going to say it over and over and over again, because I used to tell one person, then the person behind them, I would tell them, the person behind them, I would tell them, and then again, and again, because no one follows. If one passenger does something bad, everyone does it. You tell someone, take your shoes off, the next person still has their shoes on. But we got to get into the habits of listening, communicating, so that we know what's going on. So some items that you have on you, or in your check, or in your carry-on, they're going to ask you to take them out. If you're wearing a large jacket, This is not a large jacket. I can keep this on. But let's just say you're traveling in the winter. You have a large jacket, it needs to come off. It goes right into the tray. Shoes, they're going to ask you to take your shoes off. Fine. Just make sure you're wearing socks. They don't give you socks at the airport. If you're wearing a belt, you may be required to take the belt off as well. Now, as far as your liquids, your gels, your aerosols, I carry a lot of them in my bag, and I'm sure you guys love to have them with you too. We put them in our bags, but then we don't use them. But they're there because they look good in our bags. Just know that when you go onto your flight, what's allowed in your carry-on is up to 3.4 ounces, which is about 100 milliliters. That includes water. If you guys have water with you, you can take up to 3.4 ounces. Nothing more than that, because then it will get checked and they might throw it away. If you are interested in taking a large shampoo with you or a large bottle of lotion with you, just put that in your checked baggage, because that's where it belongs. And if you guys have a laptop, take your laptop or anything that looks like a laptop out of your bag. Put it in a tray by itself with nothing else, and put everything on that belt. And by Allah's will, it'll get through. And it'll get through very safely. And then you will get it back. You can pack your bag however you want and get on your plane. There you go. Oh, you can go. So the last thing I want to present to you before we start our Q&A session is this. There are programs at the airport. Some you're probably familiar with, others you are not. One of them is TSA PreCheck. So one of the benefits with TSA PreCheck, it allows you to go through an expedited screening. If you have TSA PreCheck, you go on a separate lane with people that are only TSA PreCheck. Some of the other benefits, you get to keep your shoes on. You get to keep your belt on. You get to keep your laptop inside of your bag. I'm not promoting it, and I'm not getting paid for it, but I'm telling you it's a good benefit to have. I would only say it's good for domestic traveling. A lot of international airlines do not participate in TSA PreCheck, so I don't want you guys to waste your money. And again, it goes back to randomized screening. You could have TSA PreCheck and still be randomly selected for enhanced screening. So if you guys are interested in seeing all the different programs for when you are leaving the United States, I encourage you to go to tsa.gov and you can read up about it. And here also, there's a whole host of prohibited items. I would tell you guys one by one what that item is, but we'll be here all day. But some of the very common things I saw there a lot, were like knives. A knife is not allowed, especially this day and age. Sure, the rule may say one thing, but what they enforce is another. Knives are not allowed across the board. Guns are not allowed. Any liquid gel aerosol over 3.4 ounces is not allowed. Why do you think that's the case? Because anything over 3.4 ounces could be a potential risk. What I could put in a bottle that's 3.4 ounces, I can't put in an 8-ounce bottle. If I wanted to put explosives in a bottle, I'm going to go with the large bottle. You cannot put explosives in a 3.4 ounce bottle. So I encourage all you brothers and sisters that are about to travel to, again, go to tsa.gov. You'll see links like this. They have photos of it, so you can actually see for yourself what it is that's prohibited and what's allowed. And that's going to help you guys travel to Saudi Arabia without, hopefully, any hiccups. So as far as you guys getting onto that curb and into that gate, this was a brief overview. I'm sure there's a lot more that goes to it. There are a lot more specific items that we didn't get to cover, but do the most important thing. Organize yourselves. Get there on time. Have your documents with you. Anything that's prohibited, do not have with you. If you have liquids, gels, aerosols that are 3.4 ounces, that's fine. Anything over it in your checked baggage. And I'm going to pass the microphone to my brother, Shafiq Munir, who's going to give you a little brief overview of what it's like when you come back to the United States of America.
Assalamu alaikum. Like I said before, I work out of John F. Kennedy International Airport. I'm a U.S. Customs and Border Protection officer. I've been here for about 2 years now, and before that I was with TSA for about 3 years, but I'm also with the United States Coast Guard. Traveling, the reason why we had this discussion that we're having now is because we want you guys to be very comfortable when it comes to traveling. Millions of people travel every day. They do not have issues. We want you to travel in the same manner. We don't want you to be nervous. We want you to go to the officers and comply with them. If the rules say do this, you do that. They want to get you on your flight and get you going. They're not here to stop you from flying from one destination to the other. And the rules that my brother Rafiq mentioned earlier are for you when you're traveling from the United States and leaving to any other country in the world, and also domestically